Yep. Go ahead
All
and hit it.
right. Welcome to episode 5 of the House of Fire podcast, joined by Chris and Crocs. We're going to talk about some things. So, we're going to start. We will talk about, people were waiting for us to talk about week 6 because there's, some things we got to talk about from week 6. So, we're going to talk about a couple key games starting off in week 6. I also would like to bring it to you guys to ask if you want to do the half season awards, like MVP, all that kind of shit. Do you want to wait until after this week is over because we have 17 weeks now? Or do you want to do it now?
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Just because we got some time, to actually think. I guess we could talk about it. We could touch on it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so we could do that. So the first thing I want to talk about, obviously, is week 6. Like, let's let it fly. Eagles Giants. You guys are expecting me. You guys are expecting me to go nuclear here, and I'm not. But I want Chris. Go ahead. I want you to let the people know how you feel, bro. Let it out.
Oh man, obviously, it was a murder. You know what I mean? We finally were able to beat you guys, especially at MetLife. So the thing that's big about this is last few seasons we were not able to win at MetLife, let alone score at MetLife or even score in the first quarter. You know what I mean? Score at all. So it's good, man. It was Jackson's third game, and that rivalry is a huge rivalry. You obviously know that. People know that, so it's great to see that Jackson Dart is actually being able to score, put up points, and that's a huge game for him to win. Nonetheless, he doesn't have his wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2, so really that guy is putting up touchdowns and points with Theo Johnson and Cam Skattebo. So that guy, he's doing it. It's just, I'm not going to touch much on it. Obviously, we won the game. We were able to shut down Barkley. I think he had 50 yards? Correct me if I'm wrong. 58 total, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. It wasn't very much.
Yeah, 58 total, which that's been looking like that's his average in the season. I don't think he's had a breakout game yet, compared to last year, which could be a Madden curse. Just throw that out there.
Definitely is.
But yeah, man, key takeaways. Obviously, you could touch more on it. I think our defense just played awesome all around. That pressure, I know Dallas Goedert had a touchdown. You guys did the tush push 18 times until you scored, so I guess that was cool. But yeah, I guess big takeaway, which we play this weekend as well, Sunday round 2. You guys secondary, man. Adoree Jackson and Ringo getting hooked, man. And if you guys. Who'd you guys just play? You guys almost lost this week too, huh? It came down to like the wire.
Kind of.
You guys
not
gotta
really.
fix that. You guys gotta fix that secondary issue, man. Honestly. Hey, Gardner Johnson's a free agent again.
So I'm glad that we lost this game, and I'm glad that things are panning out the way that they are because I think that the best division, not only historically but just every year, is the NFC East. I think when NFC East is more competitive and it's more interesting to watch, I think football's just better off for it. I just think when all 4 teams have a chance to do something, I think it makes football more interesting. I think having 2 rookies that are exciting to watch, I think is something that's also just good for football. And I think this season as a total, with anybody can beat anybody any week, has had me more interested in every single game rather than just a few key games. It's because you don't know what's going to happen, and that makes it so much more exciting. Like, I think that the skill level of teams and their abilities to build teams is getting better, and I think that the competition this year is the best that it's been since 2017, 2018 time, when you had, the Eagles, the 49ers, or the Eagles, the Vikings, the Jaguars, who had a chance to beat the Patriots, and the Patriots in the conference championship games. That was very interesting. And you have, Case Keenum, Nick Foles, Blake Bortles, and Tom Brady as the 4 guys that were in those conference championship games. That makes football interesting. And it's not just because my team won that year. It's because years like that where it's not just it's a Chiefs year, it's an Eagles year, it's the Patriots year. Now you have so many storylines. And I think that one of the important key storylines this year is that, of course, one of the important key storylines this year is, look, there are 2 exciting rookies that are playing in New York right now, right? So there's a New York team that even if this year,
you gotta give credit to Abdul Carter. He probably doesn't have the sacks, but that man is everywhere, dude. The pressures. I think he's leading in pressures with like 27 at the moment. And yeah, he probably doesn't have the sacks, and that's what everybody's looking for. But you know what? He's complimenting Brian Burns, who's leading with 9 sacks, which he's having a huge season right now. So, gotta give shout out to Abdul. Obviously, he's not getting shit, but he's everywhere, man, and he's making hell for whatever quarterback. You
And
know,
that
I just
defensive
wanted to touch on
front,
that.
that defensive front's not getting the credit they deserve en masse as one of the as probably the best in the NFL at getting pressure. Like people are talking about the Jags defense because they get turnovers. That's great, but a more consistent way to play is a team that can pressure the quarterback. The New York Giants front gets after the quarterbacks. They're not having a fun time playing against his defense. Now, do the points always reflect that? No, but at the same time, like you really shorten and lessen somebody's ability to make play calls when they have to do everything around getting the ball out quick. I mean, you're really cutting down the things that they're able to do in the way that they're operating. So I feel like the Giants front does not get the credit it deserves right now as arguably the best in the NFL. And to touch on that topic again, not to suck my own ass or anything like that, but in the beginning of this podcast, week 1, I did say that I think the Giants had the best draft class. And I think that they drafted incredibly intelligently. And I still stick behind that. Their offseason was solid. I think that they're look, this season was never a this season type thing. It could become one with the flow of the season the way it's been. I still think that there's a couple things that are missing. But next year, I mean, the next 3-4 years while you have these rookie contracts, like this team has a chance to do something. And I also said that I think this team's the best team in a bad situation, and I still stick by that. And the situation is getting less bad as the weeks go on, and that's all you look as a franchise in the NFL. That's all you can hope for is to try and get better. And this team's getting better every week. So, I mean, kudos to them.
Neighbors to get back.
Completely outplayed by the Giants. Completely outplayed all 3 phases. Absolutely lost the game. There's no excuse for it. When we touch on week 7 or week 8. Yeah, week 7. When we talk about week 7 that just passed by, I'm going to have some opinions that you guys, whatever, or you're ridiculous. But this is why we feel the way that we feel in Philadelphia, because we know what this team is capable of. This is why guys like A.J. Brown complain, because he knows that not only should we be winning these games, but we should be winning these games by multiple scores. And then we come in and lose these games. And I think it's always good for a team that's going into the season thinking they're going to be good, and then they get knocked down a peg. It's always good to say, hey, there is no such thing as a free win in this league. We have to prepare. We have to stay strong. We have to work together as a team. And I think that, that's the following week was the best rebound performance that I could even ask for, right? And it still looks rough. But yet, for some reason, our secondary looks better with Adoree Jackson injured, which obviously you never hope for a player to be injured. But as soon as he gets out, all of a sudden things start looking better instantly. So I definitely think there's something to that. I think that also, at the same time, people keep messaging me about C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I think that if a guy has floated around 3 teams within the course of less than 12 months, there's probably a reason for it, and I just don't want it in the locker room regardless. I just don't think it's good. And the thing is every team he's ever been on has been better with him on the team, markedly better on defense especially, and yet he still can't get signed. He's got to be a real asshole, considering he's probably one of the best, if not the best safeties, even in football possibly. So he's very good, but it's not worth the juice isn't worth the squeeze for him is really what it comes down to.
He's a Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, he is. And Deontay Johnson had so much potential, and he just, and the Steelers, to their credit, get rid of guys at the right time, which is why I am shocked that Pickens is actually starting to pick up in Dallas, because Pittsburgh is one of those franchises that always gets rid of guys at the right time. But then we'll talk about the Browns-Steelers 23-9 trouncing there. And also, we just want to shout out real quick. Everybody was talking shit about us losing to the Giants. Cowboys fans, you guys lost to the fucking Panthers the same week. Shut that shit up real quick. We'll talk about that, but I want to talk about the Steelers first. Crocs, what are your notes on that 23-9 game? Do you feel more confident in your team going down the stretch?
So, I mean, I guess this is an appropriate time to just, get right into both weeks, because, before and, that week against the Browns and the Bengals, 2 completely different things. However, offensively, I think we're very solid. I think, a lot of people have been talking about, we are running our offense a completely different way than people expect. And literally, Aaron is throwing to big boy receivers the whole time. Jonnu Smith, Pat Freiermuth, John. I can't think of his other dude. Washington, yeah, thank you. Washington as well, and it's working. Literally, the first play of the game, he threw a play action pass to Washington, and he took it 40+ yards. And I was just shocked out of my mind, because anybody in the past is able to read a Pittsburgh play action like it's nothing, but it worked. And offensively, we were pretty much there the whole game. Defensively, I'm 50-50. Well, with the Browns game, at least, I was 50-50 because, they had every red zone stop in the book. But the problem was they were getting to the red zone, and it's the Cleveland Browns. You don't expect them to do anything in the red zone, but they were getting to the red zone every single drive. And Dylan Gabriel was ass. He literally threw to his own receiver's helmet, and he just couldn't put the ball in the end zone. So,
Oh my god.
It was hilarious, but at the same time, like that was a concern for me. Like, yeah, like everyone praises our defense the whole time, and I get it. Like, it's Pittsburgh's legacy, but they were like the Cleveland Browns were getting to the red zone almost every drive. So thankfully we stopped them. But move ahead to the very next week, and you have Joe Flacco and Jamar Chase, and we couldn't stop a slant. Like it was incredibly bad. So like my fears.
I like how you brought that up. I
Mhm.
do. I love Joe Flacco going to the Bengals. I think that's going to revive that team. And I just want to ask, do we think it's time? I know Dan and I mentioned it. I think it's time for Shador to make his start in Cleveland.
I mean, it has been 2 weeks. I think you give Dylan one more week, but what more can okay?
What?
I mean, I could
For
say
what?
what more can Shador do for that offense, and I mean, the weapons are there. Like, look at Junkins. Like, he's a stud.
Yeah, yeah. That kid
He's
is
an
a
absolute,
beast.
well, he is the offense, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Jerry Judy. I don't know where he is. And like, I mean, who else is on that team that is even relevant? It's a matter of time before he steps on the field. He will this year, 100%. I believe it.
So
But
now
like,
let's talk about this. Imagine you have another quarterback back there that has the threat to complement Judkins. A lot of the 4 teams that made the playoffs last year had a dual threat quarterback that could throw and rush. That's just the new NFL. That's what it is. You know what I mean? That the days of the gunslinger quarterback, it's dying out. You got Matt Stafford, obviously. You still got what's his name? Goff, like the older guys, Rodgers. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I saw Rodgers do a few rushes and I was like, yo, old man still got it. That's crazy. But last year, the four teams that were in the championship games, they all had dual threat quarterbacks. I think that's what it is. You know what I mean? That's what it is now. I don't know if you guys can agree with me or not, but that's just what it is.
I definitely agree, and then that's why I was a big advocate for us trying to keep Justin Fields, which at this point I'm glad that we didn't. I'm just gonna be
It's
playing.
not him, man. That organization
Oh,
is dog water.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's the Jets curse. Like, I mean, Fields is the poor man's Lamar Jackson. So, who knows what happens with him? But like, yeah, I mean, right now we don't have the most mobile of quarterbacks with a man in a wheelchair. So, but he still flings it down the field, and people don't know what to do with it. So, and there's already been talks about the Steelers wanting to try and keep him for next year, which I'm not opposed to. I do not like the quarterback class of college this upcoming year at all. Will Howard, I want to see him get reps, and I want to see him do good because I think he has the potential to be a pretty decent quarterback. He rushed really well in college, but we'll see. Like, honestly, I mean, I'm good with Aaron for another year, but defense is what we need to fix really bad.
So on the Browns front, like the way I feel about it is there's literally no reason at all not to get both of those quarterbacks reps. Dylan Gabriel on his side though, this week that just passed, week 7, he does have on his side that it was a windy, rainy, cold day, and it was not favoring passing. Like both teams are running it. Judkins obviously showed out and had a good game, right? But so you can say that. However, I haven't seen anything from him that makes me feel like this year is it going to be a year where he kind of like he's a developmental case. I think, but the problem is that I really think that Shador Sanders is a long con developmental case as well, because you have to understand his record was not good in college. He played in a weak conference and his record was still not good. He had the Heisman wide receiver, which is one of only 3 wide receivers to ever win the Heisman, and that's how good he was. He was a two-way player, arguably one of the best corners in college football, and still didn't win a bowl game. Like, there's nothing, like, I don't see the promise in this guy that people see in this guy. I don't see him having this crazy arm. He's not insanely fast. He can run, but he's not this guy that I look at and I think, like, he's just this guy. But Dylan Gabriel was also not that guy. So the Browns, in my opinion, had 2 poor draft choices. But the thing is with Shador is that at the 6th round, he's a much less risk. So you might as well play him 3-4 games this year, see if he even has anything that you can see that's worth working on. And then you think about it, there's no risk in cutting him, keeping him as a backup or whatever, because he's a 6th round draft pick. You're not paying him a lot of money to play football in Cleveland. So I really believe at the end of the day, there's no risk in playing either one of them. There's no reason to also keep Gabriel. He's not inspiring me with his play. If anything, the only player on that entire team that's inspiring me with his play is Quinshon Judkins, and then you have Myles Garrett, but we always knew he was going to be good. So for me, the reality of the situation is the Browns, this is not going to be their year. Next year is probably not going to be their year. Why not see the potential that you have in the quarterback room and what they could even be capable of and what your team looks like with these guys as your quarterback? That's just how I feel about it.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate because I obviously we just went through this with Dart starting. Um, Dude, NFL's a business. If the Browns want to keep their fans and keep people in those seats, the fans want Shador. They want to see him. It's quite obvious. You know, I don't know if you saw Shiloh walking around pretending like he was Shador. The guys want him in. You know what I mean? So maybe that's the spark. You know what I mean? That's how I'm looking at it. And I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Shador completion percentage was one of the best out of all the quarterbacks in this draft coming up.
He was
I
a
think he's
check
at,
down
like,
merchant.
75. You know what? But again, that's probably what you need right now. You know, sell those seats, sell those tickets, give the fans something to look forward to. Like you said, I don't. There's nothing that Dylan Gabriel has done so far besides hitting his own player in the helmet, which that shit was hilarious. You know, it's not all on him. But what the fuck? This guy, obviously, the fans.
Let me play devil's advocate with that though, real quick. Is the team around them, especially the offensive line, even good enough to show what any quarterback is capable of right now? Because that offense is just completely incompetent. Even with Flacco, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like Shador, like does at the same time though. As a caveat to this, and I agree, give him a chance, but I agree, like, what can they even show? This offense is miserable, like, all the way through. So even if Shador comes out, honestly, for me, him throwing 150 yards with 2 touchdowns and interception and 60% completion rate is a good game in this offense. But people aren't going to feel that way in mass because a lot of football fans expect some dude to just come in. If you put prime Tom Brady on this team, they are a fringe playoff team. I really believe that. That line is miserable. That line is miserable.
Njoku's also hurt. That doesn't help when he's like the number one targeted. Last year he was the number one targeted tight end. Obviously he's not. He's hurt for a little bit. He's on my fantasy, so RIP to my fantasy team. But you know what I mean. I think they have some decent pieces to where they could spark something. But
yeah, I mean, and it's not impossible. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not impossible. And now I also want to touch on this, Crocs, as well, because I was just going to talk about this. Do you think the Steelers legitimately have a chance to do anything, or do you think that they're a product of a ridiculously weak AFC North right now as well, though? Because that division is uncharacteristically bad right now. They're usually very competitive, and I feel like most of these teams are real banged up and playing pretty poorly on average compared to what we're used to.
I'm just going to put it out there. I hate to sound like the negative Nancy when it comes to my team, because I obviously want to see the Steelers do well more than anything else on the planet. But I'm already on the verge of history is going to repeat itself because of last week, the Bengals, the infamous. Okay, so I was 1 week off of the Mike Tomlin trap game, and here we are. 4 days rest, AFC North battle, and Tomlin always plays down to who we're playing, no matter who it is. He's 1-7 in Thursday Night Football, 1-7, and we could not stop Jamar Chase from doing a slant route. Literally,
but nobody can, bro. They finally, like, you had Jake Browning. All right, bro. Fucking who the fuck is that guy? You actually have a quarterback that can throw. Joe Flacco is a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's probably old, but guess what? The motherfucker will get the ball to Jamar Chase. T. Higgins even had a touchdown. I think that was his first touchdown of the fucking season. Noah Fant also, like, dude, this guy is gonna throw the ball and he's gonna make something happen on that team. That's
very true. And back to Joe Flacco, and this is another reason about the whole Tomlin situation, is he came out earlier in the week and he said, I've played Mike Tomlin enough amount of times to know what I'm doing and how to beat him and how to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he did it because it's the most predictable defense of all. Literally the last drive of the game leading up to the Bengals game-winning field goal, there was a pass to Jamar Chase, and the nearest defender was like a good 20 yards away. He had a radius of about 20 yards around him. What are we doing? Like, why are we playing zone in a game, like in the last minute of the game? Like, it just doesn't make sense. And it's predictable at this point because Joe Flacco has said it. Julian Edelman has said it in the past that Mike Tomlin has the most predictable defense when it comes to primetime games. And it's history repeating itself at this point. And if we're not careful, well, I mean, our upcoming games are absolutely atrocious. We play the Packers this week. And then we also, like, down the stretch, we have the Bills, the Lions, the Vikings, like all these tough teams. And then we have the rest of the AFC North. Like, again, it's going to be a tough stretch. And I mean, I'm hoping they can pull out some wins there, but I just don't see it. Like, okay, so offensively, I have no issues. I think the offense is, I'm not going to say perfect because we have been rumored to get a wide receiver too, whether it be Chris Olave, Adam Lazard, I hope not, but that's Aaron's guy apparently, and somebody else. And that would bolt up the offense pretty well and make us contenders in that aspect. But defensively, we have the highest paid defense in the NFL. It's not showing. It has only shown once against Cleveland in the red zone, and that's it. And that's what I'm waiting for patiently. And they need to – I mean, all these players tweet out all the time because I follow just about every Steeler on Twitter, and they tweet out, we're going to get better. We're going to get this together. Like Patrick Queen says this almost every week. So, I mean, I hope they do. Like, because if you are the highest paid defense in the NFL, please show it. Please.
Yeah, I mean, if you like you telling me that when you said that like before, it didn't make sense to me because that just doesn't there's nothing that says that offense looks like the highest paid in the NFL or even really close to it. Although overall, it's the inconsistency, and like you said, like yes, Jamar Chase is that good. However, this is the NFL. If you're running a short route like that, there's no reason you should have that much separation. I agree with that as well, especially when you go out and you get a Jalen Ramsey. I mean. And he's supposed to match up on those guys. Yeah, like that's not. What are we doing here?
Like 3-4 penalties. Like it was that game was just.
Jalen didn't have the penalties. That was Joey Porter Jr. He had like 2 or 3 pass interference calls that were. I think one of them was pretty bogus because there was one that should have been offensive pass interference. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day. The game was the game. But I'll tell you what, Aaron can fling the damn ball, and Freiermuth had his first scoring his biggest game all year finally, because he's been like missing in action the whole time, and he had 130 something yards, 2 touchdowns, and I mean now we have our receivers, our 3 wide receivers are 3 tight ends, which is like a ridiculous concept to think about, but if it works, it works because like if you throw to a big man, like it's always, I'm not gonna say you're throwing at Calvin Johnson every single time, but it's like it's working.
Hey man, I texted you. I told you that DK signing was amazing. That's all. I think we could end. We could end that.
No, I mean, DK's made more of a difference than I thought.
But the fact that we traded away George Pickens is kind of hurting us, kind of a little bit, because I've always been a fan of George Pickens minus his antics, obviously. And look at what he did in the absence of CeeDee Lamb. He popped off. He was like wide receiver 4 or 5 in the league the last 4 weeks. And I mean, time will tell if it truly is going to hurt our offense. I don't think it is right now, but I mean, again, we're in trade rumors to get a wide receiver too, so who knows? But yeah.
My problem with this current team right now with the Steelers is that I don't think that like even offensively, if that's the better side of the ball for the team right now, I think, but. Even that's not sustainable because even a game where Aaron Rodgers throws for, around 250 yards instead of his like average of like 160 right now, he throws for 4 touchdowns, but he has 2 picks, right? So if he's going and they're playing in a game script where you're going to be throwing the ball a lot, he's the kind of guy who likes to throw in tight windows. He likes to take those risks. And the thing is that there's going to be a drawback to that. And he doesn't have the ability that he used to have where he can fit those balls in there. I mean, the arm still looks good, right? But he doesn't have the speed on the ball that he did when he was 32, right? That's just the way that it works. So you're taking, even in a game script where you're throwing the ball a lot, it's not sustainable to me in a playoff setting. Let's say the team is 11-6 going into the playoffs. Let's just say that, right? I think the drop off from that team to the team they're going to be playing, I think they drop off a decent amount, even on offense, because of the fact that you have guys who are slinging the ball and they're averaging more yards, they're averaging, better completion percentage, they're not throwing as many picks and all those kinds of things. So there's nothing that's really, to me, inspiring, like this is amazing, right? I'm looking at like, this is incredible, like this is a Super Bowl team. However, I think that you can farm a lot of wins off of your division, and I think that's a good sign. And I think that you can use that to roll in and maybe get a better seed and have a chance to get some momentum going into the end of the season. For me, this team, it's really going to come down to how hot are they in January. Because if they catch fire in January, that's still Aaron Rodgers. Okay? And people say he only has 1 ring. He was a quarterback in the hardest generation in the history of the NFL in terms of quarterback play. So 1 ring is a lot in that time. So, he gets a lot of hate, but you got to remember, like, in those games, he's standing across from Drew Brees. Right? Like he's standing across from, Peyton Manning, and he's standing across from Tom Brady coming down the stretch into those regular seasons, into the playoffs. I mean, he's playing against great teams constantly.
Rivers and Eli got his number on one in one
Absolutely. And you think even Eli, the fall off from Tom Brady to him is massive, but they're still both Hall of Famers. That's how hard that time in the NFL was. So he's a great player. He's one of the all-time great quarterbacks. He's one of the most fun guys to watch, and he's still
and Andrew Luck.
Oh my God! I mean, he's still got that back
even...
shoulder. He throws the nicest ball. When he was in his prime, bro, Aaron Rodgers threw the nicest ball in the NFL. If that back shoulder shit was lethal, I think this team has a chance. This team has a chance this year. Any team has a chance. But at the same time, I think their chance is a little bit lower than a Bills team right now, just because of the fact that as a whole, as a team, they're just playing a little bit better, even if they're losing those bad games.
Yeah, with a chance though, like it's. What is the chance for? Is it for we would go past the first round finally in the first time in like 8 years? Or is it like, 9-8 first round exit like everybody says? Like that's the biggest question mark. And the division is still a toss-up because the entire AFC North is garbage equally.
This team's a Super Bowl contender potential. Like if we're talking potential-wise with the amount of talent that they have, I think this team is just as likely can win a Super Bowl just as much as any of these other teams right now. Honestly, do you think they have a better or worse chance than the Patriots? And I feel pretty good about that team right now. I think they could win. I think they could win the AFC East. That defense, they added a lot of good moves. They made a lot of good moves on defense, and Drake May's playing good football right now.
Yeah, I mean, we did beat New England this year, which I'm very pleased looking at it now because New England is balling. And you know what? I mean, it was the Patriots and the Giants that were my two favorite teams coming into the season that I wanted to watch because of how they did in the offseason. More or less the Patriots because they had good drafts, good free agent signing, new head coach, the whole 9 yards. They went from the complete ground up, and it's paying off tremendously. Like Drake May, like you said, is balling the hell out right now. And it's exciting to watch. I mean, plus New England has one of the easiest schedules going down the road for the remaining season, and the Bills just lost to the Falcons, so the division might go back to New England this year.
Yeah. So just last thing that we're going to touch on week 6 because we have to go down all the way down week 7. So I want to just move this along a little bit, although I do think these topics are good. And then once we get to the games again, we can retouch on these things because these are interesting points. Like, don't get me wrong. So talk about the Panthers. We have to talk about the Cowboys losing to the Panthers here. The sentiment among Dallas going into this game was like, we're not worried about Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle in a 2-week stretch has turned into Barry Sanders. For 2 weeks, he was Barry Sanders. Okay, that was a Linsanity run from our boy Rico Dowdle. And look, the reality of it is that this is the game that, to me, sums this season up. You have the best offense in the league against a defense who I can't name a single player off the top of my head right now. You have a Chuba Hubbard who's hurt, and you have Rico Dowdle coming in who was just discarded by the Cowboys, and they go in there and they win 30-27. That's this NFL season, and this is the reason why I am so much more excited for this season and to continue watching every week than I've ever been to watch football in the last, let's say, 5 to 6 years.
I mentioned it week 1, man. Like Bryce Young, the Panthers, they fucking Leggett. I think he had a touchdown that game. Tet McMillan had 2, I want to say. Obviously, yeah, glory to Rico. He had 200 all-purpose yards, 240 maybe. But I mean, hey man, they got some weapons. You know what I mean? Tet McMillan was the first wide receiver to go. I liked him when I saw him in Arizona. Leggett last year, I don't know where he came out of, but he was a first round also. Later in the first round. They got some weapons on there, man. If they could just move the ball around, I think they won this week too. The Panthers are on they beat the Jets. The Panthers.
And I don't think anybody's talking about the fact that the Panthers have a winning record of 4-3, a winning record, which is like you would never have thought like the way the first couple of weeks were
again.
Going.
They got some pieces, bro. With Chuba Hubbard's gonna come back, you're gonna have that dual threat. With Rico and Chuba, like I said, you have Tet McMillan. You got Leggett. I don't even know who their tight end is, but you know what? They got some pieces if you can make it work. I'm not gonna say they're gonna be I mean, they might take that division. That division is pretty dog water too, you know. We're just gonna say it again. This is anything can happen here.
So I have just on other games specific questions. Chiefs beating the Lions 30-17. Are the Chiefs back?
They might be, man. Just. Dude, it's just I hate to admit it myself, but Mahomes is just Mahomes, man. And then Rashee Rice just came back. That was his first game back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rashee Rice came back. He had a touchdown. Pacheco, he had the ball ruin.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The following week was his first week back. I'm sorry.
Back? All right.
Yeah, he wasn't even back yet. Yeah.
So you have Worthy. You still got Hollywood Brown doing some work here and there. You got Pacheco. Finally doing some stuff. Look, man, Andy Reid is just Andy Reid, bro, and arguably Lions is probably one of the better teams. But hey, they lost 2, I think, this season so far, 2 or 3.
Yep, 5-2.
It's
That's
just
the record.
it's just a fucking toss-up year, man. Like I don't even know what to think about some of these teams because the Falcons even beat the Bills. I know we didn't really want to. We're like not touching on week 6 too much, but the Bears also, bro. The Bears beat the Commanders. You know.
I don't think
on,
that, I think again, like going into this season, I was saying like I'm iffy on Jaden Daniels. I think he was a little bit overblown. He had a great season, but again, I think that team was a team that was already good. They were a quarterback away. They had talent. They have enough talent to be a good team. And they had enough talent to even be a Super Bowl team, except for the fact that that next step up, the only thing that stops them from being a Super Bowl team in my mind right now is the next step up. There's a few teams that as a complete team right now are just in an insane spot to just take over the league, right? Obviously Philly, right, if they play consistently well. But then you have the Bills, right? I mean, even Dallas right now with their offense. So the Bears are starting to make things work. But I just am not huge on Jaden. It's a sophomore slump kind of thing. He's also been playing with injuries the entire year. He's been playing with injuries the whole year. I mean, the dude has not been 100% since week 1.
Debo's out. Terry's out. They traded away B-Rob, you know. So, like, that kid, Billy, he's good. But you know what? At the end of the day, yeah, you're right. They have injuries. And, yeah, I just want to touch also on the Falcons. That was a team that I was pretty big on this year. I know they got blown out by the Panthers. But, dude, again, they got Drake London. Kyle Pitts is finally starting to make some work. Bijan is probably the best running back this season, arguably. I think Bijan. Yeah. Penix, you know, I'm starting to see some good stuff from the kid. I think he's not terrible. And you know what? The defense isn't bad either, man. They're really not. Yeah,
no,
dude.
I also want to say while we're talking about Bijan, how about Javonte Williams? 570 yards. No one, like, that was the biggest for me. Like, we even talked about that. Everyone was talking about that. Who's their rushing attack? Javonte Williams has consistently played well the entire year so far. And quietly as well, I might add, because they're talking about their passing offense. But a big part of them being in their number one offense is Javonte Williams is playing very well consistently as well.
So, because if we're going to touch on Dallas, we also got to, and I hate to give Dallas compliments on anything, but also Jake Ferguson is having a fucking year, man. I think he scored the last 4 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's big.
You know?
Yep, he's big. I mean, I picked him up in fantasy. Nobody wanted him. I'm like, are we not watching Dallas? It's like, is it because I have a bunch of Eagles fans in this fantasy? Like, the dude's legit. Like, he's very good. And it sucks. I feel we're getting robbed by Brock Bowers being hurt because I love watching the dude play football. I mean, he makes everyone around him better. He's just that good. But, dude, Ferguson is legit. I mean, and now I want to bring the question. Do you think as of this point in the season right now that the Cowboys won that trade with Micah Parsons?
I don't know, man, because who they get? Kenny Clark? I think he's been hurt, right? So we really haven't seen much from him. But we got to touch that. Also, the Panthers put up 30 on them. The Giants put up 34, whatever it was on them.
That's true, but Micah Parsons has been ghost for that defense. He's been ghost, and they got that contract off the books.
I don't think he has a sack. Maybe 1, 2.
He's ghost.
That's what I'm saying. The Dallas defense is not very good, but you know what? I think what made that was the like you said, that Williams. I don't even know. Was he a free agent? They picked him up. Awesome. He's having a great contract. This is probably a contract year. He's probably gonna get an extension for that. And then that George Pickens signing was huge too, man. Trade. Sorry, that George Pickens trade was huge. Those are 2 things that probably really turned that team around. Defensive wise, again, teams are gonna be able to score on them. Are they gonna be able to keep up? Because that's what really it comes down to. If your defense is going to consistently score, then your offense has to come out and do 10 times harder. They can't pay, let's say, they can't manage the game, you know, maybe burn the clock, get a first down here or there. No, they have to score. You know what I mean?
And they have the number 1 offense in the league. So, like, I think, and we said, look, this is like a hot takey kind of question. I wanted to kind of see where you guys are with it. I think as of right now, like, this is going to come down to the next 2 years who the Cowboys pick. 100%. That is what it comes down to. I don't think it's just clear written in the sand. As much as I love to hate on them, like, it was stupid. Like I think the best franchises in the NFL stay the best because they get a good player like that. You just sign them. That's just how it works. You make it work. You do it. You don't try to go around an agent to the point where you can't sign the guy now because you went against the player's bargaining agreement where you talk to a guy without his agent, and now you're in a position where you can't really sign the guy. And so that was stupid on their part. Again, it's another Dallas fuck up. It's another Jerry Jones idiocracy move. But at the same time, like, it's not looking as bad as people want to say it is, and people need to be just as loud with the criticism of Micah Parsons as they were with Jerry Jones at the beginning of the year, because look, Micah Parsons is not playing good football right now. That defense is playing pretty well, but he's not really one of the biggest reasons why, or even one of the top 5 or 6 reasons why, when we thought he was going to be the number 1 defensive player in the league this year, like as a complete write-off, like he's in his prime, and he's not doing that. So this trade really does not look that bad if you're Dallas right now, and I think they're borderline winning it because, like you said, they needed to score. They got the number 1 offense in the NFL right now. They got the best tight end. They have the second best statistically running back, which is crazy, right? And then you have Pickens, who's picking right off where CD left off, and he looks great.
Yeah. I think, you know what, and just to touch on that, Packers almost lost to the Cardinals that week. The week that
Yes, very close.
Yeah, that we're definitely gonna talk about that, and I'm definitely gonna rip into Micah Parsons. So let's start the week 7 slate.
Week 7?
Let's go to week 7.
Okay.
Steelers Bengals. Crocs, what do you got, man?
Well, yeah,
we touched on that, no?
I touched on it pretty much. Like, yeah, just the fact that defense didn't show up at all. Aaron still balled out. Offense was very solid. Same thing, no problems. Defensively was a huge problem, and the exposure of the week before of allowing the Browns to get to the red zone paid for the Bengals, and the fact, again, Joe Flacco knows the Steelers, and it was pretty obvious. But yeah, it just, again, I mean, for anything different from what I was saying before, like this week we play Green Bay, and we have to be like as defensively good as Green Bay's defense in order to have a chance, because Jordan Love kind of cooking right now. Like, he's a lot of people's pick to give the Lions a run for the NFC or the Eagles, like whoever comes first. But yeah, like our defense needs to step up this game. It's Aaron Rodgers playing against the Green Bay Packers this upcoming week, so you got to step up.
So just real quick, I don't know if you guys heard about this with the Packers as well. Every single game this year they've won, they've had 27 points. When Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl, they were 27 years old, and Jordan Love's a couple months away from being 27 years old. Is there something to that? I don't know. Do you feel like that's crazy? That lines up insane. I just saw that and I was like, that lines up. That's so weird how things like that work out. I mean, it's a nothing thing, but it's just interesting. Like, I saw that and somebody brought that up and I looked at it and it's like, that's pretty wild. Look, the way I feel about this in total is divisional matchups, and this is something I love about football. Divisional matchups are divisional matchups no matter what's happening. Divisional matchups are going to be tough games. It can be up to anybody winning. This Bengals team, if you want to talk about, because people like to talk about the Eagles with this, and they like to talk about like a lot of teams with this, and I've talked about Dak with this. That offense is good enough to where you can plug a couple people in a quarterback that maybe are not as good, and they should still win games. There's so much talent on that team. They need to be they should be doing this every week, regardless if they have Flacco or Burrow or whatever. However, it's kind of strange that the protection looks better when Burrow has not been in. The offensive line has played better when Burrow's not there.
They don't feel as pressured to protect a 42-year-old quarterback versus Joe Burrow, an all-timer. It doesn't make sense to me. I do want to bring something up that is a little bit separate from the conversation, but it's about the Bengals. They might be in some serious trouble going down the stretch for the next couple of years, in my opinion, because you have paid Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase max contracts, and I learned that the Bengals sold the rights to their stadium names to pay Joe Burrow. And that in itself is like, okay, what are you doing? Because, I mean, and now one of their best defensive captains just requested a trade maybe 2-3 hours ago. And
the linebacker, right?
They might be in serious. Yeah, they might be in serious trouble because the money is not there.
They spent 45% of their money on 3 players.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That I don't know who they think they are. And literally, like, it showed last year, Joe Burrow. In my opinion, if Joe Burrow last year made the playoffs, he should have gotten the MVP on a plate because he statistically was the greatest quarterback like I've probably seen in an individual season since Brady or Manning. He made them even relevant to the playoff conversation. And I think, and even if he plays now out of his mind like he did last year, like even better than that, they still won't make it because the defense is not there and people want to leave and you've only paid 3 players. And at some point you got to ask the question, like, like you might owe him a trade going down the. I mean, I know they signed him to a max contract, but like he might be the next Matt Stafford.
That's a smart move for them to trade him. They're not going to, but the smartest thing for both sides would be to trade him because they have Trey Hendrickson on a nothing 1-year deal, and they're losing him next year too. So that defense already struggling. You lose a guy who has still been good in spite of everything. He actually still has played well enough to where he's earned his spot, no questions asked. One of the best in the league. And he's going to go to a contender, all right? He's going to go to a Bills. He's going to go to a Ravens. He's going to go to one of them teams because even the Eagles have $35 million in cap space left open, right? These teams are going to be more aggressive because that's what these teams do. So if you don't pay your guys, guess what? They're going to a team that you're going to have to beat if you want to win a championship. So, yeah, I mean, the Bengals are in trouble going down the stretch. I think the Steelers kind of run away with this division unless Lamar comes back and just plays flawless football. I don't see anything from this division that makes me think that the Steelers aren't still as an entire team the best. I mean, they just are. And regardless, you're going to lose these games sometimes. Divisional games are going to be like that. But, as a whole, as a team, Steelers are still the best right now. So, like I said, it's going to come down to January with this division. I don't think it's going to be hard. We're going to make takes all year. That's what we do here. But it's hard. This division's the hardest to gauge right now because there's a lot of factors that we didn't think were going to be a factor. And the Lamar injury is strange. We don't know what's happening with him. They're kind of posturing as if he's going to play, but he's not practicing. They're saying he's not 100%. So, I don't know. But Rams Jags. Are you giving up on hope that the Jaguars are going to do anything this year?
I was never a Trevor Lawrence fan, never have been. So the Jags to me are just dog water. I have nothing to say. That's just my personal opinion. I know I always get hate. I think Trevor Lawrence has never been him. I think he was just, when it comes down to it, the guy just doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like this team put up 35 points. Sorry, the Rams put up 35 points, 35 without Puka. Like Devontae Adams had himself a game. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. And then for the Jags, they got shut down. I'm not, bro. I'm fuck T-Law. We have a mutual friend who's a big Jags fan. I'm not big on the Jags. I think every year, every year consistently they maybe make the playoffs or get close to it just because that division's so garbage. But guess what? The Colts are fucking taking it right now. So fuck. I don't care. Jags. I don't like Trevor Lawrence. I have nothing to say.
I was after the Chiefs game. I don't want to say I was big on the Jags, but that was that was impressive for Trevor Lawrence to drive them down the field and run the ball in after falling down. I mean, that was all. That might be a contender for
play, though, man. Like that.
The next week, you go to your second home stadium in London and you lose to a team like it just doesn't make it's inconsistent at the end of the day, and that's been the story of the Jags so far because Brian Thomas Jr. is having a sophomore slump. He's doing atrocious. And Trevor Lawrence, doesn't have big options on the outside of that. ETN, showed promises of a really good bounce back season in the first couple of weeks, but now he's, going back to the shell of what he was last year. So, I mean, and that one defensive player, I can't think of his name, number 0, who leads the NFL in interceptions right now. He's, their only big corner piece on defense. So it's too inconsistent for me to be big, but I'm not going to rule them out just because some team might sleep on them. Like whoever plays them in the first round of the playoffs might sleep on them and end up losing, but only time will tell. But they're not taking the division away from the Colts. They're still my AFC favorite right now. So
yeah, I think that the Jags still have a chance to be a playoff team. I think that, again, the gap in the AFC is just too high, and I think the Colts are a legit team. I think, if anything...
Is it because of their skill or because of the division they're in?
I think it's a mix of both, though, because I think that their division that they're in isn't bad enough to say that they can just farm as much as we thought.
With 4 games easily against the Texans and Titans. That's
right.
my...
With the Titans, I think yes, the Texans have potential to at least take some games off of even the Colts if they play well. I haven't seen it this year. I don't think they will, but this division's not as bad as it has been historically, but I think defensively they are good enough to put themselves in the running to win games that maybe they shouldn't because they've already done that a couple times this year. I think that if more than anything, the only thing this highlights for me for the Jags is that Trevor Lawrence is the crack in their shield here. I think he is the clear weakness in this offense, and that's not a good weakness to have for an NFL team, is to have a guy who's at quarterback that, look, he's not going to do it week to week. He'll get you a win here or there. He's not going to do it week to week, though. I mean, he just doesn't. He consistently plays so below average.
We talked about this the week before. He's getting like $55 million a year for what? Why?
Mhm.
I don't see it. I have not seen it since he joined the league. Like the guy, yeah. What, they won the national championship? Was he the Heisman winner? He was, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Since college, there's nothing I've seen from the guy where I'm like, all right, you know what? This is the number one pick. This is the guy. And people are like, oh, he's going to the Jags. No, like you gave this guy ETN. You gave him Chris Jones, Christian Kirk, Brian Thomas Jr., Evan Ingram at one point. You've given this guy weapons. So what's the excuse?
The he's on the Jags argument this year is not valid. That team's good enough. If they had a better quarterback, they'd be a Super Bowl contender. There's no way about it. I mean, they're playing one of the best defenses in the league. One of the best defenses in the league that's actually not just good at playing defense. They score points. I mean, they're putting touchdowns on the board for this team, and they're still losing games. So the he's on the Jags excuse no longer valid. They have enough talent. And then now Thomas Jr., he's dropping some balls. He's also not playing great, but again, Trevor's making game-losing mistakes, like losing fumbles, taking stupid sacks that put you out of field goal range. Like these are Trevor Lawrence issues. Don't get me wrong. He's also very, very bad at getting rid of the ball, even because this year his protection's been good, and he's still not getting rid of the ball. He's still getting sacked. He's still not maneuvering in the pocket the way you want him to. Now, the problem is moving forward that this is going to be something we're going to hit on now. We're going to hit on for the rest of the year. I know we're going to say this a million more times, but it cannot be overstated. This quarterback draft class will not save any franchises.
No.
I mean, they're just not. Even Nussmeier was a guy we were high on coming in the year. Like a lot of people were high on coming in the year. Not played consistently well. Arch Manning, he's going to need to stay in college another year or two, at least. I do think that there's talent there and potential, but he's not there yet. Ohio State's quarterback, he's good, but he's on a great team. I mean, they're just really good at constantly recruiting. I'm an Ohio State fan. They're good at recruiting. I mean, they are. They have good wide receivers. They just lost 3 running backs to the draft and still have another guy who's playing well at running back. I mean, so that doesn't translate. I mean, there's no quarterback in college right now that I think I'm like is even a top 10 pick. There's still going to be one pick because there always is for some reason, but there's no guy who's in my mind a top 10 pick right now in the entirety of this. So yeah, I mean that's something that the Jags got to come to terms with, is that they gave a huge contract to the wrong guy, and that's just what that is. So moving on. All right, Eagles Vikings. I'm going to speak on this one here. Heavy.
I don't think any of us can speak.
This is the offense that should have been there the entire year. This is what they're capable of. Jalen Hurts threw to guys that were wide open. That's true. These receivers should be wide open. This is, if you're talking about full potential, this should be the best wide receiving core in the NFL, and it shouldn't even be close. Because they have enough of a line to give the quarterback time, unlike the Bengals, right? They have a running back who draws a threat. Look, even though Saquon's not having a great year, you would be stupid to not scheme to stop and draw that threat. You have to draw somebody to him. This is the receiving core that should be in the entire year. Now, moving forward with consistency, I liked a lot of the calls coming down the stretch from our offensive coordinator, which is the first time this year that I've liked things that we were calling. And it wasn't just feed the ball and force it into this guy or that guy. They were complex routes. They were running picks off of each other, or rub routes because picks are illegal. But, this team is looking the way they should have all year, and Jalen had the best performance of any quarterback in the NFL this year. Perfect quarterback rating, no interceptions, over 300 yards. I mean, statistically the best. He played damn near a perfect game, but his offense should be good enough to allow him those things. A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are good enough to where he should be able to throw to guys who are wide open. He made tight window throws. The defense is still a problem. You can't close teams out when you have to score touchdowns every drive. That's the problem. They can't get away with a 50-yard field goal from Jake Elliott. They need to score touchdowns. The offense is not the problem right now. As much as people want to say the offense is the problem, I feel like right now the defense is the problem because they only get stops when you necessarily need it. Why is this game even close? Why are we not forcing more 3-and-outs? And look, and I also want to say another reason why this Jalen Hurts performance was the best in the NFL is because that was by far the best passing defense in the entire NFL up in that point. Didn't give up one even 200-yard passing game, and he threw for 330. So it's there. This team is still a Super Bowl team. Everyone knows that. So it's coming down to, again, can they consistently play well? I think they can, but we need an offensive coordinator that's going to be there for more than one and done. You need that. I mean, you have to have that chemistry.
I just got 3 things to say. First off, all right, 4 things. First off, fuck Philly, hate Philly. But put some respect on my boy Dallas Goedert. You didn't even mention him. He's having a good year as well, 100%. I think if JJ McCarthy plays, because Carson Wentz made some dumb mistakes, man. I think that makes that game a little closer. I truly do. But whatever. And now 4th, this is more of a question. How you feel about BG coming back, man? I really do hate Philly, but I respect players. BG's back out of retirement. How you feel about that?
I hate it. I think it's dumb. He had the perfect storybook ending to his career. I think he should have been signed as a defensive consultant. Now, is he going to make an impact difference maker kind of thing? No, and he wasn't that last year. He's going to be a guy that's going to bring some leadership into the locker room, and he's going to be a guy that's going to give you some key tackles when you need it, because he does that. He can get some pressure on the quarterback here and there. At the end of it all, though, I don't think his age really proves as much. But you can't point to Joe Flacco, who's a quarterback. Because he's not getting into a car crash every single play, right? So that's the difference.
Yeah.
I think that his career was perfect the way it ended. I think he should have been involved the way that that Jason Kelce was involved last year as a consultant to the offense. I think he should have been a consultant to the defense. I don't think it was necessary to sign him. I don't love it, and I don't think it fixes any of our problems. Our big problem is corner. Honestly, at this point, swallow the pride. Gardner Johnson might not even be a bad signing if they can even sign him. I think that our problems are in the secondary. We are getting enough pressure on the quarterback. The problem is we're playing quarterbacks that are notoriously good at getting rid of the ball quick, and they just cut us up because even on the short routes, these guys are not covering. It's a corner problem when you're even on short routes, you're not getting coverage. You cannot blame a lack of quarterback pressure for the way that the secondary is playing, because let's be honest, they're not even covering the routes that they should, that are there for them to cover, right? This is a secondary problem. Anybody who with 2 eyes and a brain can see that. And I would hate to see this dude just further destroy his body and spend time away from his family and all this stuff in a role where he's going to be playing, at most 40% of the snaps. I mean, he just doesn't fix our issues. I love him. It's going to be cool to see him come back at a couple mic'd up clips. I just don't think this fixes anything.
At the link against the Giants, this is some fucking crazy shit right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, it is. And I think that this week's going to look a little bit different. I think that the offense is starting to get confidence. I think the OC is starting to get confidence. He's starting to take risks. All right, we're on 3rd and short. Hey, we're going to call a bomb to Devontae, right? Or we're going to call, to close out the game, we need a 2-yard rush. We have Saquon Barkley. We're going to call a deep throw to AJ because he's been burning the corner all day. There's smart things that I'm seeing. However, I'm not stupid enough to just buy in right now and think, all right, we're the runaway. No, there's still some things that need to be worked out week to week, and this defense is just not a whole piece yet. Still one of the top 5, inarguably, in my opinion, top 5 best teams in the NFL, top to bottom.
Are we gonna bet those $50 back or what, baby? Giants take it at the link. What's up?
I'll do that double. I'll double or nothing. I'll double or nothing on that. I ain't a hoe. I'll double or nothing on that. I'm staying on my team. I do think we're gonna win. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. Also, is Jackson Dart, he's been getting hit a lot, and this has been a concern. Do you think that he's playing with a considerable injury? Or, I mean, he's not 100%. It's week 8 in the NFL. Nobody's 100%. Do you think that the injury thing with him is concerning?
He's a tough kid, and I'm just saying my personal experience. I think if a guy wants to, and this is my big problem, man, is when people sit out with hamstring issues and this, that, the other. Yeah, I get it, man. But if you're a professional player and you actually want to fucking play, you have that drive, and you can see it. You can see the fire in his eyes, man. He does not give up, bro. You could tell this guy really, in the press conference, he was like, hey, man, this city wants to win. Like, he wants to win for the city. And then this week he's like, oh, I'm excited for Philly. I want to get booed. He's like, I'd rather play, because he also played in the SEC, and everybody knows how SEC football is. He says he lives for that, man. He said he'd rather play in that environment than an environment where nobody's looking. So I don't think Jackson Dart is playing as a rookie, bro. This guy has almost 1,000 yards in, what is this, game 4? 10 touchdowns, 3 rushing, and 3 interceptions. The kid he's going to be nasty. And I just want to say, this is all without Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors has been gone since his first game. This guy is fucking scoring with his wide receiver 3, 4, 2 tight ends, and Cam Scatterboo.
Yeah.
Which
Tyler Johnson, a very good tight end as well, by the way. I think he's very left on.
said it week
Sure.
1. I said, yo, get Theo Johnson involved. The guy is decent. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
You're getting him involved. You know, he got Daniel Bellinger involved. You know, we're actually, I don't want to talk too much on this because we're going to talk about the Broncos game. I don't want to talk too much on the Giants. We're sidewaying. But yeah, man, I'm excited for Giants and Philly at the Link. It's always a good time. Always.
All right, so Patriots Titans. I mean, look, I think NFL fans kind of piss me off sometimes. Look, you can't be down on Cam Ward can average 60 throwing yards for the rest of the year, and I still don't think that it changes anything in my mind in terms of his stock. He's got potential. He wants to win. He's got the mindset. This team, they drop passes. Like, he's made mistakes. I'm not saying he's perfect. They drop passes. The protection's terrible. The defense is terrible. They just fired their coach. This is just a bad team. But I think that next year, going down the stretch, I have confidence in Cam Ward to actually make a difference. If not on this team, on another team, I think Cam Ward's got the winning DNA to be able to go out and do some things in this league. And I hate that people are already saying that he's ass and they're down on him and stuff. Look, this Patriots defense is incredible. This Patriots defense is incredible. They made a lot of good moves, and when you have Christian Gonzalez healthy, they might be the best defense in the league by the end of the year, right? So, and Drake May's playing good football, and this Titans team's just not there yet, and the Patriots are in the position where, look, the question I ask is, I have the Patriots favored to win the AFC East right now. And I know that's crazy, but as a complete team, they look very good, and they're winning the games sizably that they should, which is not a thing most teams, if any, in the NFL are doing right now.
I don't think you're wrong. They already took one from Buffalo. We're seeing the Jets and the Dolphins have a combined record of 1-13. So I don't think you're wrong, man. I really don't. You know, like I said, they already took one from Buffalo. You might take another one from Buffalo, and yeah, I think somebody mentioned before, the Patriots have the easiest.
Sorry. I don't want to downplay like New England's play at all because they're like, again, one of my teams that I wanted to watch before the end of the year. But I mean, the question is like, is it more the Patriots division to win at this point, or is it the Bills to lose?
I think that, again, I'm gonna say it, man. When you have players that actually are playing for a reason and they want to play, you know, you're gonna see it. Everybody wrote the Patriots off 100%. We're not gonna say we didn't. You know what I mean? Like, Patriots have been bad for years. Since the whole Brady incident. Really, what is that like now? Almost 10 years. Buffalo's been there. Yeah, when did Brady leave? Yeah, bro, I feel like
2020.
2020 he left.
No, he was on the Bucks. When did he leave the Patriots?
Yeah, 2020. 2019 was his 2019 when he threw the pick six to the Titans and lost the game. That was his last year as a Patriot. So he started in 2020 and then won a Super Bowl in 21 with the Buccaneers.
Yep.
Damn. All right. I guess I'm fucking in the past. Anyway, yeah. Hey, bro, this is a good young team that's promising. Again, they took one from the Bills. When it comes to division, it comes down to those division games. You know, there's 6.
More importantly, on the road too.
Yeah, I think they could easily take five games. You know, I think they could definitely beat the Dolphins, beat the Jets, and they already took one from the Bills. Maybe they'll split the next one. Maybe they beat them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and to answer your question, Crocs, I feel like it's the Pacers division right now until the Bills prove that they're the team. Look, like last year, previous years, that doesn't matter to me right now, especially with the way things are going. I feel like they have some issues that they need to get together. They're losing games that they should not be losing right now. Josh Allen doesn't even look good in those games. He's throwing picks again. You know, he's making mistakes. He's making mental errors, all that kind of stuff. So look, this team's got to prove it. And right now, the Patriots are proving that they're a good team, and I'm going to believe them. Right? Like the teams that are showing me they're good right now in this circumstance, I'm going to believe those teams because there's not many teams that are showing me that. So I think the Patriots are legitimately one of the best teams in the NFL right now. And honestly, they're the hottest team in the NFL right now. And winning games like this by 18 points that you should win is something that they're one of the only teams in the league doing, right? I mean, unless you're playing an absolute bottoms, because I think the Raiders and Jets are actually markedly worse than the Titans, incredibly. But, I mean, look, they're winning the games they got to win. And they're doing it well, and they're doing it in a style. I mean, their best players are playing good. And that's something that, you know, again, is wholesale, not something that's happening across the league. So let's move on. Panthers, Jets. I mean, do we talk about this game?
No. Jets suck.
Okay. Yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I mean, the Jets still, I believe, are one of the best winless teams I've ever seen until this week. They showed a lot of things that showed promise, and there was a lot of things that I thought, like, man, the ball's just not rolling their way. they suck. I mean, they're terrible. Justin Fields, I feel bad for him. He's got to be done. I think in Pittsburgh, honestly, he would have been just as good as Aaron Rodgers would have been right now, personally, because he also adds the ability to run. But the thing is down the stretch in those fourth quarter situations, I think Rodgers is really good in those situations, and Fields is not as experienced, so I still give the edge to Rodgers there. So when it comes to Fields, this might be the last time that we're going to see Justin Fields as a starting quarterback in the NFL, and he might just fade into Tyrod Taylor territory, who replaced him and then was equally as bad. So it's a shame, but that's the way the league goes, and they suck. So
he hasn't turned the ball over though. If I'm wrong, like I don't think it's Justin Fields. I think, dude, there's something else. Garrett Wilson it looks like he wants to leave. What the hell's his name? Breach Hall looks like he wants to leave. The Jets just, I don't know what the hell's going on over there, man. They used to be like a top 5 defense, and now that defense is fucking dog water. But
Mark Sanchez just got arrested. It's in shambles.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. You see that one video of the one kid, they interviewed him. He's like, I hate this team. I was born into it, but you know, it's just I hate this team. You know?
Yeah.
That's the Jets, man. I have no words because
so
they might not win a game.
Speaking about being terrible,
Dolphins suck too.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
These next 4 games, the Dolphins suck, the Saints suck, the Panthers suck, the Raiders suck. Like, this is insane.
I don't understand how Mike McDaniels has not been fired yet. I mean, I feel like it's still coming, but like it should have happened.
I think it's because Tua's the problem, and if you get rid of him now, that he's going to probably get hired by the end of the season as someone as an offensive consultant or something like that, because he is a good offensive mind. I think Tua's just clearly the problem here. I mean, you get fired, it's a thing. It's the way the NFL works. He's going to get fired probably, but when it comes down to it, I don't think Mike McDaniel's the problem. I just think and Tua, the thing that pisses me off the most is he'll go in and he'll make bonehead plays, or he'll miss targets, and he always has some dumb excuse for why he does it, or some stupid thing that he says in the media that makes it even worse. Like, he's playing like shit. He's a bad player. He's not good at playing quarterback. It's that simple. He's bad. He's bad.
I will only say my issue with Mike McDaniels, and it's my issue with a lot of these young coaches, they try to be buddy with the players, and you need to have some type of discipline, man. You have to have an Andy Reid, Sean Payton, Pete Carroll. You need to have that stuff. You're a coach at the end of the day. You're like, yeah, you could be their buddy, cool, man, but you got to have some type of discipline in there. You know what I mean? Like, supposedly these players are showing up late to team meetings and this, that, the other, blah, blah, blah. All right, maybe it's not a big deal, but you know what? You're a team. You want to build that chemistry. You want to fucking actually build and win games. So is nobody being held accountable? You know what I mean? I think that's another big issue. Did he lose that team? Did he lose the locker room?
I also don't like that he's calling out his teammates in a press conference when he's also playing terrible. It's not like he's playing great football and his team around him. Like, he's playing bad as well, and he's not taking any of that accountability, which means that he's probably going to be out of the league next year. I don't think anybody's going to want a guy with that mentality, especially somebody who needs to take the humble pie and he's not eating it. So, as far as the next couple of games go, yeah, the Saints are bad, the Raiders are bad. I don't really think there's anything to speak on that. I didn't see anything from the Chiefs that changes my opinion of them in this game. The Raiders are terrible. Geno Smith is done.
Shout out to Pickett for coming in, and first thing he does is fumble the football.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's Oakland Raiders, now the Las Vegas Raiders, right? That's what they do. Bears coming in and beating the Saints. Look, the Bears are quietly having a decent season. They're playing some bad teams. They're beating them, right? That's a good thing as well. Like I said, this year that does matter, because there's a lot of teams that are going to need wins coming down. Look, the end of December and early January is going to mean so much more this year than it has in last year's as well. That's something that's exciting, because usually by that time it's locked in with the playoffs. There's one team that has a chance, but the other team that they need to win is benching their quarterback. That's not going to be the case this year. You need to win. Like, these games you need to win. So the Bears, they're winning them. I still just, like, the Bears could be undefeated right now, and I still just wouldn't think that they're going to beat these other NFC teams. I just don't feel like they're there yet. It just feels like there's something missing from this team. Even though DeAndre Swift's not playing terrible, you have Caleb Williams playing better, there's just something that's not there for this team, and I don't know. I just really am not riding on their bandwagon this year.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift, that's a good little spark. And they're on a 4-game winning streak. I will give them credit whenever it's due, and you know what? They're it looks like they're finally starting to click. You know, they did get a new head coach. And it's not like they lost to the Vikings like horribly, you know what I mean? The 2 games they lost were not bad losses, you know what I mean? So Rocky says what's up. Hi Rocky. Say hi.
The Rocky appearance on the podcast.
Yeah, man.
Let's move on to the Colts and the Chargers. I mean, the Colts are just that good. That's the only thing that you can say going through this year. The Colts are just that good. But why are the Chargers struggling so hard to be consistent? What is the thing that you feel is stopping them from consistently winning? Like, it just feels like they're not consistent.
Okay, so this is my takeaway. Just 'cause I was watching a little bit of the game before I came over here, and one of the commentators said it. So when they lost to us, that started their losing streak. In that game, Joe Alt got hurt. That is who they drafted to basically turn that offensive line around. I guess Joe Alt is back now, and they just scored 2 touchdowns in the game. I was watching it like right now, right before I came over here, and the commentator did say this offense is world different with Joe Alt on that line. You know what I mean? So does that player make a difference? Probably, because they have that tight end. I don't even know who he is. He scored, and then you mentioned it earlier, Vita. He scored. He's a running back 3. You know, so maybe this guy is protecting that side of the line, and it's that's what they needed because they were on a 3-game losing streak, 4-game.
How about Gadsden though? And again, this game he's playing against the
I didn't know
Vikings.
that
He's
is.
coming out, and he's a rookie. He was a guy that no one was talking about. Like no one even knew he was on the team. He's coming out of nowhere, and we're watching Thursday Night Football right now. He's put on another big performance. Again, he's got almost over 100 yards. He's got a touchdown in this game, and he's running all over the field. I mean, he looks like a Travis Kelce type player. I mean, he's playing out in the slot. He's playing against the line. He's actually blocking, so maybe he's not Travis Kelce, but he's running routes. He's running routes down the field. He's making plays all over the field, and he's actually like looking like a very good player. So, I mean, look, maybe that's the spark that they needed, this week against the Vikings, but which we'll touch on the Vikings in a second because I do have a question to ask about that once we're done with the slate. But the thing is, like, the Chargers are just frustrating because they're a team that even in a good performance, they will lose games. The Colts are very good, so you can't really hold that against them too harshly. However, it's just something about this Chargers team. They are just struggle so hard to be consistently good, even though I feel that they can be just as good as any other team in the NFL, and especially getting Khalil Mack back, getting Joe Alt back. This team's going to have a new look, but if it's 1 or 2 pieces away from you being a team that loses by 14 to a team that wins by 21, then maybe you're not a team that's a Super Bowl contender, in my opinion, because you need to have that depth.
Yeah,
I think you said it last podcast as well, that the only team that can beat the Los Angeles Chargers is the Los Angeles Chargers, and that's what they've been doing. I mean, I was watching the Chargers-Giants game a few weeks ago, Jack and Dart's first game, and Justin looked like he looked scared throwing the ball all game. Like maybe a couple good throws to Quentin Johnson, but like I'm watching him right now. Like I literally have the TV on and he just threw a pick and it didn't lead to a red zone touchdown, unfortunately for the Vikings. But still, right there, like they're up 24-3 and he's still throwing picks. And if he doesn't get it together, like he can throw this game away. But I mean, time will tell. He probably won't. But like there's the inconsistency right there is Mr. Herbert.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why he's not getting, like, even though he has those numbers that people love to talk about, he's not getting that respect, and I still wouldn't put him over even Jalen. I wouldn't put him over Bo Nix right now just because that's the thing. It's like he just plays his team out of games just as much as he wins them, and that's something that people need to understand is, like, everybody wants to run away from that game manager thing, but guess what? Sometimes being a game manager on a team that's good enough to win games for you around you is good enough, and I think that, going out of your way to try to make things happen when you don't need to, I don't know. It feels like a lot of what he does feels forced to me. It feels very statistics or narrative driven, in my opinion. But moving on to the Giants and the Broncos.
Oof.
You got rid of your kicker. I mean, good. Like good move. I like that. Got rid of him. Good. Like we want to win. Like that shows me, hey, they want to win now. Like the kicker fucks up, we lose a game. Get rid of him. He's a problem.
So again, we put up 33 points against the number 1 or number 2 defense. We shut them out up until that 4th fucking quarter. Again, cool. The defense led up these points. Awesome, man. But I think you mentioned it before, is the Steelers. Shane Bowen, our defensive coordinator, for whatever reason, the whole game is rushing all 4 people because that is the strength of our D-line. You rush him all game. Bo Nix doesn't have time to throw. He really doesn't score at all. And then for whatever reason in the 4th quarter, you're playing preventative defense. You're playing zone. And guess what? The motherfucker's running in for touchdowns. He's throwing balls. Also, I'm not one because I think they're all professionals and all of them should be able to compete. But Javon Holland got hurt and so did Paulson Adebo. And those are 2 guys in our secondary to where Deonte Banks came in. And Deonte Banks, besides his rookie year, has had a horrible fucking career. So I've wanted to trade him since last year, really. And yeah, the big thing on the kicker, a lot of people are saying like, oh, it's not the kicker's fault, it's not the kicker's fault. All right, awesome, cool. He misses the first point attempt. Then what happens after that? You don't trust your kicker to make the extra point, so you go for the 2 point. We missed that. That's potentially 2 points. And then again, you miss on the go ahead the extra point. That game right there makes it 33. If you make that extra point before, it's 34. You force this team to have to score a touchdown. Because it's 34-30. You force them to have to score a touchdown to win this game with no timeouts and the clock running. So yeah,
and I mean, again, you and me both know about fourth quarter zone defense. It just doesn't fucking work, and it showed on that last drive as well. Like y'all played zone and Bo Nix threw it deep twice, and that was the game.
Dude, the whole game you're rushing. You have Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, and Kayvon Thibodeau. Arguably, we keep talking about it, the probably one of the best lines right now. And then you're fucking playing preventative, you're rushing 3, what are we doing, bro? You're giving them 10 fucking seconds to throw. So that was just bad coaching. It was bad on Daboll too, man. At the end, Jackson Dart, I love that he scored, but guess what? There's 30 seconds, 45 seconds, you're on 1st and goal, and you have a timeout left, bro.
McTominay's not the reason you guys lost this game. First of all, it should have never come down to that. Second of all, why ever in the world? By the way, now he should have gotten fired. Don't get me wrong. He should have lost his job as a kicker, 100 wholesale, right? It's easy to you can point the blame there, or whatever. That's fine. I don't hate that. But at the same time, why ever in the world do you have more pass attempts than rushing attempts in a game where you're up 19-0 in the fourth quarter? They have 33 pass attempts to 32 rush attempts. Why? Why would you not have? I mean, they just weren't running out clock. There's a lot of passing plays that were incomplete, a lot of dead time on the clock, right? There's 3, 4, 5 minutes of clock time that you just gift back to the Broncos. People like to talk about 28-3 is like, I love to talk about this because yes, it shows the greatness of one team, but it also shows the problems of another. Right? For a comeback like that to happen, for a comeback like this to happen, one team needs to make just as many, if not more, mistakes than the other team has successes. And I feel like the Giants, when it comes to play calling, especially in that situation, have made a lot of mistakes. Why are we not running clock more? Why are we not running the ball? Yeah.
No, that was stupid. Again, so at the end, I'm just going to break it down to the end. Jackson Dart scores. We have one timeout left. There's 30 seconds left, bro. Cool, you score. But, bro, run the clock a little bit. Clock. You're most likely going to score. You're on the 1. You got Cam Scatterboo. I wouldn't have been mad if this guy, they tried 2 times, take a timeout. I had full confidence they would have scored. It was just bad management from everybody, and you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah. And look, like I said, it's very easy to point that finger at McTominay, 100%, don't get me wrong. It's very easy to point that finger there, and that's a finger that's been pointed at him for multiple weeks. Your kicker has been a problem for multiple weeks. He's clearly an issue. But at the same time, it's we got to manage this game better. This is our game to lose. The only thing prevent defense does is prevent you from winning games, and that's just what it comes down to. You have to play to win, not to lose, not lose. And that's just the way that they were playing. It's all right, let's just kind of do the same thing you're doing the whole game that was working, right? Why change? Why change your scheme? Why change what's working? The thing is that we also have to, now that we're a winning team and we're not used to being a winning team, we have to adapt to game script. We have to adapt to the way the game's going and the flow of the game. We have to manage the clock better. But these games are learning experiences, and I feel like I really hope that Daboll stays again after this year as well, and they do well enough to where he's not going to get talks and fired, because talks of being fired is because he's very good with young quarterbacks, and I think he can really help this team develop, and I think he's got the right mind for it. It's just, all right, he's not used to playing winning football in the NFL. Now we're playing winning football, and we have the talent where we can play winning football, and we even defensively, we don't have to consistently push our quarterback to make plays that he doesn't have to make, like we had to with Daniel Jones. We can use our whole team to win this football game, not just Jackson Dart. So, again, it's a heartbreaking loss. It's the same thing that happened to me with the Broncos. Fuck the Broncos this year. They're these cardiac kids. But again, this is something that doesn't make me feel great about that team either, though, because they're relying on a lot of mistakes on the other side to be able to consistently win these games. And that's something, to me, that is not sustainable, in my opinion. So they're not there yet. Give it a couple more weeks, but I don't think that they're there yet. But again, there's also promising signs for New York. As much as it sucks to lose that game, there's promising signs here. Putting up 32 points, getting up to a 19-0 lead, having the team look good as a whole, it's good. That's good. These are things that you should feel confident about moving forward. If not even just in this season, just move. There's a lot of promise here for this team.
I feel great. We get Neighbors back. That's going to be a huge threat. Maybe again, there's talks we might get Jacoby or we might get Olav. We just signed Ray McLeod. I actually do like that. I do like that free agent.
Former Steelers.
Yeah, I, you know what? I'm not upset with that. Put him out there, see what the guy could do. So
there's a case that I want to talk about right now with this next game, the Packers and the Cardinals. Why is Kyler Murray not getting absolutely roasted to be benched?
Well, we talked about this 2 weeks ago. Also, I don't know.
Still, no one's talking about it. I mean, it's crazy to me. Brissett looked very good in this game.
Yeah, I think Brissett. I think they're probably gonna see that now. They're probably gonna be like, all right, you know what? Brissett was doing the damn thing. Trey McBride. He had 2, right?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, Trey McBride. Awesome. Had a great game. I mean, I think the conversation's there now because you're seeing, all right, you know what? We could possibly win with Brissett. Is Kyler the issue? I know you mentioned it. You say he runs a lot and he takes a lot of sacks, loses a lot of yards. So
I mean, look, if I'm the Cardinals and I'm Jonathan Gannon, I'm going out there right now and saying, hey, this is our quarterback right now, because he showed more fight and more game sense and more talent in that game than Kyler Murray's shown all year, and yet Kyler Murray still has the ability to play quarterback for this team moving forward, and they're just kind of waiting on him to come back from his injury. I don't understand this. This team should be better than this. I mean, losing James Conner is a blow, but this team has a good defense. They have a lot of good experienced players on this defense they had chances to win this game. I mean, that's crazy. And against a team that's why again I'm not huge on the Packers right now, because they're not putting away the Cardinals. You can talk about the Eagles all you want, but the Broncos are way better than the Cardinals are. The Cardinals are terrible, and yet still with Brissett they looked like a competent football team, and they had opportunities to win this game. And so Kyler Murray, the fact that he's still a starter right now and was a starter this year was crazy to me. I mean, the guy is just not a good quarterback. I mean, and especially with the amount of money they've thrown and the amount of years he's been there, this team has pieces to be able to win, and they're not doing that. And that's something to me that kind of drives me nuts for Cardinals fans, the 3 of them that are out there. What's going on here?
Did they basically fire their coach because of Kyler? They chose Kyler over the coach last year?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the time's coming. I think, Dan, you might have said this before, but correct me if I'm wrong, but this might be Kyler's last year as a Cardinal and potentially even a starting quarterback in the NFL. I don't, maybe not. Maybe the Jets scoop him and he does even worse. I mean, it would be pretty hilarious. But, yeah, Kyler has really not done anything significant for the last 2-3 seasons. Maybe when he had D-Hop, he was pretty decent, but, even then, they weren't, a wow factor, and they're still not a wow factor. And Kyler Murray has been given different weapons after different weapons, where it's Marvin Harrison Jr., when it was to DeAndre Hopkins, whether it's James Conner and Trey McBride now, and still nothing's huge from it. So it's what's the point? And like you said, Jacoby Brissett went out there and proved that they probably need to move on from him. So, I mean, I don't know who the Cardinals go out and get as a quarterback. Maybe you stick with Brissett for a year and, sniff out the next draft class when it comes to QB. But it's really I'm agreeing at this point. I think it's time to move on from Kyler. I think it's a little long overdue at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So now we have to talk about the Cowboys beating up on the Commanders. I mean, look. You talked about hamstring injuries, players sitting out. Jaden Daniels uses a lot of his threat with a hamstring injury, though. And I think that Mariota, if you're going to have a backup quarterback that is the perfect backup for a type of player, Mariota is a very comparable player to Jaden Daniels. And so the offense doesn't lose as much as people would like to think they do with Mariota in. However, This offense in Dallas is hot right now, man. This offense in Dallas is playing really, really good football, and the Commanders from the first quarter on never had a chance in this game. I mean, never had a chance in this game.
I will give the Skins the benefit of the doubt just because they were without Debo, they were without Terry, they were without what's his name? Eckler. So I think what the hell is his name?
Krusty.
No. CMC's McCaffrey. Luke
Luke
McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, yeah.
He was their starting receiver. So not saying he's horrible, but like I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. They were fucking hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they still put up 22 because Zach Ertz, I think, had a few. And I think Ertz isn't getting as much credit either, man. Tight end. This is a year for tight ends, honestly. And they're not being spoken about too much, you know? So
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I think you also talked about as well. That I, like the point that you made. You said we both talked about this earlier on the season. It's like they're as good. Like Debo's a good signing for the 6 weeks a year you're going to get him. He can't stay on the field, and now as soon as he gets hurt, this offense changes, and that's always been a problem. Debo Samuel could easily be the best wide receiver in the NFL if you're talking about talent, but he can't stay healthy, so it doesn't matter. It's all like the thing with Debo's a what if story. They didn't sign him for too much. It's not going to break the bank for them to have Debo Samuel. However, he's a guy that you want to have on the field because he's a difference maker. He is a very, very good player, but he's never been able to play a full season at anywhere near 100%. And if he has, he's had a noticeable fall off because he's banged up. There are a lot of leg injuries. He's a receiver. He likes to play that running back. He likes to do like slot. He likes to do all these different kind of things. He can't play. So that hurts them. However, I just don't think the Commanders ever really had a chance to win this one regardless. But the Cowboys are a very good team. Again, going down this week, I believe that, they play the Broncos. Like, I kind of think that the Broncos are going to win this game. Like, I still don't love Dallas yet. I still don't love how they play yet. I still really don't think that, like, the Dallas Cowboys are, like, this incredible team right now. I feel like they have a good offense, but they got some guys who get fucking cooked in their secondary on defense. So, they have to average 35 plus points for the rest of the year for them to confidently win most of these games. And I just don't think that they can do that. I don't. And even with all the talent that they have, and, Dak, when it comes down to the times where you need him to play well, he kind of starts to fall apart. And that's been my criticism of him his entire career. So even if they're going in, winning the NFC East and go into the playoffs, I still don't see him getting past the second round this year. I just really don't. I think as a complete unit, I would love for the Eagles to play them in the playoffs. I'm not afraid of this team in the playoffs at all. I'm not afraid of this team even a little bit in the playoffs. So that might just be a bias thing. I mean, it could be. It could vary. I mean, I can admit that, but when I watch them play football, it's like, okay, you beat up a Commanders team that has nobody. All right, now what? Like, if you go beat up on the Broncos by 22 points, okay, maybe we're talking. But right now, there's nothing they've proven. Plus, they've had that tie and they had 2 losses. So, I don't know. I'm not huge on them yet.
Well, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and slightly disagree on that one at the current moment, because the Eagles, I mean, you guys just had your first big offensive performance of the year when it comes to, like, throwing the ball and whatnot, and Saquon still hasn't found his soul yet. And right now with Dallas, like, with having the weapons that they have of CeeDee Lamb, of George Pickens, of Jake Ferguson, of Javonte Williams, that's a complete offense. That is a complete offense, and they've been putting up 30, 25 plus points.
Bro, just because Muriel's watching don't mean you have to agree with these fucking Cowboys.
I'm not giving my wife credit. Oh, don't shoot the messenger here. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's one of those things where again, we're saying this now. I could be completely wrong when it comes down the stretch. And the Eagles could like pop off on offense for the rest of the year, and the Cowboys could just do.
You know what the problem is with both those teams, the Eagles and the Cowboys? Let's say, just because you guys mentioned them, both teams, they look like they could score, but both teams are gonna get cooked in the secondary. So, like, what's it gonna be, a 40-40 game?
However, it's not. There's still a noticeable improvement for the Eagles, though, because the Eagles have only given up 2 games of 30 plus points, whereas the Cowboys already have 4 games of 30 plus points and 1 game of 40 plus points. So even with the secondary being as bad as they are, we're holding teams under 30 points consistently. So that means that our offense does not have to average 35 points per game just to win football games, not to blow teams out, just to win. We can score 27 and win games. They cannot.
Yeah, again.
However, I mean, you guys only beat them by what, 3 points, 7 points week 1?
4 points.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, right there, I mean, they didn't really find their offensive schemes yet in that game.
Yeah,
I don't think they really did anything special. But down the stretch, like, if these are 2 teams that are playing each other in the playoffs, like, as it looks right now, I think it would be a lot closer than what we feel like.
That's what Dan was mentioning before. But that's what Dan was mentioning before. If their defense is gonna give up, let's say 22 points to the Commanders, fucking a hurt Commanders team, that means Dallas has to score on like every fucking drive. You know what I mean? You can't just manage the game. Yeah, they are, but how long is that gonna last?
Is it sustainable?
Like,
That's
what
what I'm
is it?
saying. Like, I just don't know how sustainable it is. It could be. It could be. Now, I might be wrong because they are the best offense in the NFL, bar none. Jake Ferguson goes down. What does their season look like now? Because CeeDee Lamb can go down because they got Pickens. I'll give him credit there. Javonte Williams, there's a good chance he might not be consistent all the way through the season, right? You have one guy who drops in production by this much, and that team is nowhere near what they are, and they're losing most of these games.
I think Dak is Dak. Dak is gonna fuck up.
And that's my point too. But I mean, I don't wholeheartedly disagree with you, Crocs. The thing is that if they do sustain this level of play offensively, this is a historic season. But to me, they look like the Bengals from last year.
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing. Like they're the equivalent to Cincinnati in the last year. But to that point exactly, like if one of their offensive weapons goes down, what is the difference? I mean, we've already seen it with CD going down. They still put up those big numbers per game. Granted, they've lost. But, I mean, they just have to stay healthy for them to perform the way that they're doing. So,
Mm-hmm.
Who is this? Sorry, who is this Vidal guy? He's got 95 yards rushing.
He is popping off right now. I'm watching the same thing.
Like, score again. Like, who is this guy?
Yeah, he had a good game last week as well. People are starting to get high on him. Like the Chargers are having like that next man up. Like they're having guys step up right now. I mean, no point.
Take a wild guess who took him on the waiver wires in our league.
I was gonna say I'm about to pick him up. Somebody took him already?
No, so he's taken, and he's on somebody's flex right now.
Who has him?
Eddie.
Fucking midget! I hate you.
So, 49ers Falcons, dude. This Falcons team is like impossible to gauge.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
You want to talk about inconsistent? That's number one.
I know they're not good, but I don't know how not good they are. Like, are they the 16th best team in the NFL or like the 28th best team in the NFL? Like, what are we?
That
like,
makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. But
Right.
I like that team.
And Bijan, like the whole team, is what I feel.
I really like the Falcons. I do. I think CMC just had a good game here, and if we're being honest, both teams did not play well. CMC just had a better game. Really, what it comes down to. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I don't really fucking know how to gauge either of these teams. I don't know how to gauge fucking 60% of the teams in the NFL right now. Like, God.
We bring people in that are fan bases of these teams to tell us exactly what's going on.
Yeah, actually, man, that could be something cool too, man. I know my buddy Pablo, he's a big Bucks fan, and we were at work today. And he was like, "Damn, bro, you're not gonna bring me on?" I was like, "Come on, I'm not opposed to it."
Oh yeah, I mean, I gotta get anybody on, but Mac Jones too. The Mac Jones revival. I mean, we can talk about that too. Mac Jones has played good football. I mean, he's not played bad, and he's
Christ, it's Kendrick Bourne.
They've had injuries, and Kendrick Bourne, playing good football. I mean, look, like talk about overcoming a circumstance, right? Like that's not bad. That's not bad at all. For that team to go out there, they put up 20. They did enough to win. The defense looked a lot better than I thought they would, coming off of a Falcons week where they played well, right? They played well against a good team. I mean, does that mean now by the transitive property that the 49ers are better than the Bills this year? Like, what's happening? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's just crazy to me. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like the Falcons look like a minor league football team against the Niners, but they go out and they just absolutely statement victory all over the fucking Bills. Like, I just don't get this.
Also got blown out by the Panthers.
That's true. So exactly. Yeah.
This is just this year, bro, is just insane.
What are we talking here? I mean, like, what the fuck is going on in this NFL? Speaking of what the fuck is going on, the Lions just come off a huge loss and then just blank the Buccaneers.
Again, so I like to play devil's advocate because the Bucks also were down Mike Evans. No, he got hurt in that game, but they lost Mike Evans. Yeah, Godwin is still out. Buka was hurt. And then they have Bucky was hurt. You know what I mean? So they're missing 4 of their freaking superstars. You know what I mean? So
that's true. I mean, but you got what's his name? Their other running back. Who the fuck? Oh my God, what is his name? Rashad White. Rashad White played well in that game. Rashad White actually played pretty well considering that as bad of an offensive performance as it was. Right? So they have the depth, but. Then you have Evans going down sucks. I mean, Evan going down, it just sucks for football. Like I like the guy. He's done. I mean, he's done for the year, and it ends his streak of 1,000-yard games. 1,000-yard seasons, which is not the way you want it to end because he should have broke that record. He's the most consistent receiver in the history of the NFL, and it's a shame that he's not going to be able to get the record for that.
Jerry's right. Jerry's record.
Yeah, and he's more consistent. He was more consistent, and so he's one of those guys who's going to quietly go into the Hall of Fame, and then people are going to be like, "No, you got to understand, this guy was the man. Like he was fucking awesome." So. Yeah. It sucks to see it happen that way. It sucked to see him lay on the field like that. I mean, that really fucking sucked, man. That really broke my heart to see that. I mean, especially for them to lose this game like this. This was a really hyped game. This was a game that was good for football and makes things continuously interesting. And just the fact that we got robbed of what would have been a much better game. I feel like if Mike Evans was in that, it just didn't become that. So yeah, the Lions are dealing with injuries as well, though. So you can't really say that as well because the Lions are dealing with a good amount of injuries on defense. I mean, they have multiple injuries on their defense right now. It's not as much as last year, but they're still hurt.
Yeah, that's what happened last year. But the Lions still, you got Jahmyr Gibbs, which is a fucking monster, bro. He's a monster.
You got the best dual running back threat in the NFL with Montgomery and Gibbs.
Jameson, which he's on my fantasy, he did not get 1 point. Not 1, 0. This motherfucker gave me a goose egg. So
if it makes you feel any better, Quentin Johnson has 0 points right now. I'm playing against you.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a catch, not an attempt, nothing. Just a good old goose.
Not a catch.
He's still not a catch right now.
I had him in all but one of my FanDuels as well, so I'm really pissed off about that.
Not a catch, not a yard, not a fuck you, nothing.
And they're like fifth string wide receiver just caught a touchdown, so that's really fun.
Miles Garrett.
Oh my god.
So next up, the last game of this week. This is a game I really want to talk about. The Seahawks Texans. The Seahawks are legit. The Seahawks are a Super Bowl contender. JSN is arguably the best player in the NFL this year.
Ohio State, wide receiver university.
That guy.
Yeah, that fucking section.
I drafted him in like the 4th round, maybe, of my draft. Maybe the 5th round, somewhere around there. That's right around where he was valued. And like that DK Metcalf, they think, all right, you should have signed him, all that kind of stuff. Like JSN is the best wide receiver in the NFL right now, and it's not even looking particularly close unless you have like Justin Jefferson, AJ break out, and then if Jamar can continue this. I mean, JSN is just here right now. I mean, in my mind, like he's just so much better than everybody else. And he's one of those guys that you're scheming, and he's not just wide open all the time. He's catching in traffic. He's running incredibly good routes in the red zone. His red zone route running right now is really, really good, and he's not dropping the ball. He's not dropping anything that even is near this guy right now. He's making Darnold look a lot better than he is. I mean, Darnold's a good player and all, but he's making Darnold look a lot better than what he really is because he's just not dropping anything.
And the ref protecting him.
I beg to differ because he was throwing to Jefferson last year, and that worked pretty well. And now it's showing to be the same in Seattle with JSN. But again, it's one of those things of I mean, is this something that if the Seahawks make the playoffs, do you think Sam Darnold is a past the first round kind of playoff quarterback? Because he choked tremendously last year.
That offensive line did not get enough shit for that though. That offensive line played so bad. There was 2 sacks out of the 7 where he held on the ball too long, and you can say that, but I mean he was running for his life that entire fucking game. Like he never really had a chance to do anything. So I feel like he gets a lot of hate for that. And it was going to be McCarthy's team apparently no matter what. I mean, even if they won the damn Super Bowl, I feel like JJ McCarthy's going to get that team no matter what. So this is the way it would have played out no matter what. I mean, Darnold's a good quarterback. I do think, look, he's a Dak to me. He's got talent around him. He plays good with his talent, and you can get to the 2nd round. Do you win? I don't know. But again, I think that they're a Super Bowl contender right now because they're winning the games they should, and they're having dominant victories, and they have the best wide receiver in the league right now. I mean, I also hate how they scheme Kenneth Walker out of games and just give Zach Charbonnet. Yeah, Charbonnet is one of the worst running backs in the NFL that sees consistent play. There's nothing about him that inspires confidence. They now have Charbonnet at midfield getting the ball when Kenneth Walker is notorious for just dragging them down the field at 6 yards at a time. So what are we doing with this? It's so
Kenneth
dumb.
Walker's on my fantasy, and the motherfucker never gets a touchdown because Charbonnet gets 2. They always put him at the fucking 2-3 yard line, and he fucking gets the touchdown.
I just don't understand, man.
I mean, from a fantasy perspective, I hate those running back situations where you give one guy the ball the majority of the field, and then you get to the 2 and you give it to the bigger back, and he gets
Algier. It's like Algier and Bijan. Same thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's also the same thing in Arizona a little bit. Well, right now because it's Michael Carter and what's the other dude's name? Bam, I think. Bam, I think his name is whatever.
Woo!
Yeah, exactly. Who even fucking cares about the Cardinals? But still, that's another example of like
Oh,
give.
interception.
Carson Wentz is so
Vikings are
bad.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Vikings are cooked.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, one of those situations you give one running back the yards and then you give the other one the touchdowns. It's just atrocious.
Yeah, I mean, and like, what team in the NFL is thinking, all right, if we just gave the ball to one of the best athletes in the NFL less, we would be a better team. Who's saying this?
Seattle.
Like, other than
Hey,
that,
man.
like, I just don't understand. Like, Kenneth Walker is a top 10 running back lock, but yet they give this guy who has nothing that's special about him, whatever. He's a little bit bigger. They're the same height. He's a little stockier. But why are we giving the ball at the 50-yard line? Like, I just don't understand this. Like, this game should not have even been this close. So,
I think we need to talk about CJ Stroud, man. I don't know what's up with him, bro. Last year was bad. This year is pretty fucking bad. I was high on CJ Stroud.
Yeah, I mean, he had Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins and Tank Dell last year, and it didn't end the way that it should. Well, the whole season was inconsistent with the three of them, even. And
Schultz.
this year, it's no better. It's
Stroud's
literally no
doing
better.
what Ohio State quarterbacks in the NFL do, man. Like, he's just, I mean, he was one of those guys that I really felt like I wasn't super high on, and I felt like he was one of the most prone to fall off. And, you know, he's in a situation where he should be doing well. Also, want to say while we're talking on that, because I forgot to talk about this as well. This Joe Mixon situation is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. Everyone's being so hush hush about like what's going to happen. I feel like the team already knows one way or the other if he's going to play. I hear people saying that he got hurt in the offseason and it's not football related, and then he didn't go to the team doctors at first about it, so they're like giving him the cold shoulder. But in my opinion, even if you're upset with him and stuff like that, at the position that you're in, he can make a difference. So if he's able to play at any point in this year, why would you not play him? Like, this is just such a strange situation here.
They also have Chubb too, no?
Yeah, and Chubb's not really doing anything. Woody Marks isn't really like doing any. Like, Joe Mixon's good, and also the way that they like to play, where they like to throw to running backs. Joe Mixon's one of the best in the passing game as a running back in the NFL.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that Mixon story. So
Why not just cut him
didn't
though at
either,
this
so
point?
no.
If he can play and you're not going to play him, why would you not just cut him at that point? I mean, they didn't pay him enough where it's enough dead cap to really ruin their plans in the future. So why hold on to him if that's the case? So it just doesn't nothing is making sense here with this.
yeah, I didn't know about any of that till you just mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the Houston offense in itself is overall a mess, and they've got to figure something out within the next couple of years, or they're going to have to start from scratch again, which is so terrible to see. Back to CJ Stroud, I attended the Ohio State-Michigan game where Michigan won, unfortunately, and this was my first ever impression of CJ Stroud live, and he just flung it down the field. Literally just like, I don't even know what I was seeing. He literally would just throw the ball and just hope that it sticks somewhere. And it seems to be like that's the case now. And in addition, like not that I think it has anything really to do with it, but like remember when people were talking about like he's the stupidest quarterback in the draft with his IQ and everything like that? Like, is that starting to show? Like necessarily? Like might be something to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, he's an exciting player when he's playing well. He's just inconsistent, and I mean, you got enough talent there. I mean, he's not getting the ball in the hands of Nico Collins as much as he should. I mean, it's not working out, and you know, I don't really even know what's going on with the identity of this team. Let me look up. Tank Dell again is injured. Like he's still. I don't think he's still not come back from what happened last year, right? He's still waiting to come back from that.
He's out for this year.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, that's going to hurt them as well. But how much of a difference is Tank Dell making to the point where it makes CJ Stroud look better? I mean, he's making mistakes in the way where he's. I think he's a difference as well, but CJ Stroud's not throwing the ball well. He's been very inaccurate. He's putting the ball behind receivers. He's throwing bad picks. Like, it's not a receiver issue, in my opinion. He's not throwing good balls. And like Nico Collins had 2 drops in this game that you could point to that were pretty bad. But I mean, at the same time, like, why is he only getting 9 targets in this game? Who the hell else do they even have to throw? And then he gets hurt. So now they're even worse off, and now they're throwing to practice squad wide receivers. This game is not even as close as the score made it look. They had a garbage time touchdown, which is cool and all, but I mean, I expect more from this player, and I expect more from this team than what I'm seeing, and I don't think it's just a quarterback issue, or I think it's a CJ Stroud issue here. And obviously the defense, they're getting run up on, but this defense was never supposed to be a unit where we're looking at and thinking they were going to be an elite unit. I mean, by any stretch. So, I mean, that's how at least I feel about it. This Texans team is also, a team that they're in a bad division. They still have a bad record. They look worse than the teams that they're playing with. They're not going to beat the Colts. I don't feel like they're even going to get close to beating really the Jags confidently. So, I think right now, their season's over, really. And in terms of if they're going to have the ability to do anything this year, I think their season's pretty much over, honestly. But yeah, so this upcoming week we're going to talk about Chargers Vikings right now. I mean, Vidal stepped up. The rookie tight end stepped up. Herbert looks good against his team. Carson Wentz is terrible. I mean, we can just get that. We can just get that out of the way. But this looks like another slate where I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, wow, these are a lot of bad games. But like, I feel like the Browns could beat the Patriots. I feel like when it comes to Packers Steelers, I feel like that's going to be a real good one. I feel like Cowboys Broncos. I think the Broncos are going to win. Chiefs Commanders. Chiefs are probably going to blow them out, right? But then you look at like Jets Bengals. 49ers, Texans, Bills, Panthers, Bears, Ravens, like anything can happen in these games. And then obviously, Giants, Eagles, but we don't even need to say that. That's a game that everybody's going to be looking at because they're two teams that are playing well right now, and they're it's a rivalry. It's going to be a fun one. But like outside of that, like
Team, what the fuck?
I don't know. I don't even know which games I'm really particularly excited for this week because I don't know what the hell is going to happen. Why did we pick this year to start doing this when we could have started it last year? Like I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Hold on. Real quick, Argus, you still got the list of what we called the games in week 6? Like who we thought we would win?
Yeah, I do.
We got to get a list out, see who was the more accurate person out of the three of us.
You guys do your intermission. I gotta tally it up real quick.
Yeah, and then we're gonna go do after this we can do our picks for this week. So we'll obviously do our picks for the weeks that we do the podcast, which try to do it every week, but it doesn't always work out that way, but that's okay. But I mean, I don't mind this format too because, we're starting to run a little bit quicker now. So because we're running a little bit quicker, like we covered a lot pretty quickly and it leaves us some time to, do like halfway through the year awards. And obviously this game doesn't count for that. So we can't say anything for like, for the stats of this game, but I would like to see where you guys are at with that once we get the tally of this. But I mean, and this is something that, like as an Eagles fan, obviously it's stressful, but as a fan of football, like you gotta love it. I mean, you gotta love this season. It's just fun. It's just fun. I mean, this is what makes football so fun to watch. This is the most anybody can win it year, and yet I still feel like the Chiefs, the Bills, the Eagles, and like the Packers, and maybe the 49ers still are. It still feels like those teams are still gonna be there. But then you have the Colts. But then you have the Jags that beat some good teams. With a great defense right now, which is an insane thing to say for me, but it feels like anyone can win it, and I don't feel like any fan base is overly confident right now. I really don't. I feel like you can be really confident in specific players, but I think it's really impossible to be confident in teams in terms of like this team's going to win it all, and I love that. I really do. I love that. I mean, I hate it as a fan of a team, but as a fan of the game, I love it. I think it's fun, and so we do this every week. I want to do this again with you this week. While he's doing that, you can start. All right. Who is your AFC? Oh, go ahead.
What do you think? What do you guys think got first place?
Me.
I'm gonna go ahead with myself.
Fuck no.
Oh man.
I only got first place. I got 10. Crocs got 7. Dan got 8. So I was the only one to choose the Giants to win and the Seahawks to win, and that put me over. Well, obviously, like the little sprinkled games, but those are the ones where you guys both got them wrong and I got it right, and then you got the Steelers over the Browns, obviously.
Shit, yeah. 7, 8, and 10 is pretty good though, considering the way the season has gone. I feel like that's not bad.
Well, we all got the Lions game and the Bills game wrong. We all thought the Lions and the Bills were gonna win, so we all got that wrong. And yeah, that was really the only game that we all got wrong.
So let's put our picks in here for this upcoming week.
All right.
So you won, so you lead us off for every game this week. All right. Whoever wins the previous week that we do leads off the picks.
I think the Chargers are going to beat the Vikings 1-0.
All right, week 6. What is this? Week 8?
Yeah, I think that Gadsden's gonna have a huge game. I think Vidal. I mean, he's just unstoppable force. I mean, that guy just he's giving me hard Walter Payton comps, honestly, or maybe it's like Darren Sproles prime more because he's small.
I think Quentin Johnson's going to end up with 0 points.
Yeah, I think that Crocs would still start him. In
All
his
right,
fantasy
so
league.
game one, Dolphins Falcons. I'm going Falcons.
Falcons.
I don't know if you guys are arguing that.
Falcons.
All right, let's see. Game 2, Bears Ravens. I'm going Bears.
Can we wait until like Sunday before the games to call this one because we still don't know if Lamar's going to play or not? Like that changes this game entirely. Like entirely because the Bears are going to blow him out if he doesn't, and I pick the Ravens if he does. So, like, I feel like that's a game time decision. Like, I mean, I guess I have to pick one, but like, all right. So I guess we have to pick it now, right? Like that's how we have to do it. So I mean, as it stands with Lamar up in the air, even if he does play, it means that he's still like not well. So I'll give it to the Bears.
I agree. Just because, like, even with exactly what you said. Even with Lamar up in the air is not good enough for me. Bears.
Okay.
All right, I'm going Bengals over Jets.
I'm gonna pick the Jets to get their first win of the season.
Ooh. Crocs.
If it's in Cincinnati, I think the Jets are going to fall for another loss. Bengals.
All right. Well,
Bills Panthers.
Bills Panthers. Ooh.
The fact that we have to even like react like that to this game is pretty interesting.
Is Bryce playing? I know he was hurt.
Let me check.
Bryce Young. 8.
Held out. He's held out from practice 2 days. I mean, I'm still picking Bills regardless of that. The Bills are the Bills. Like, you're not going to win every game. They've lost some questionable ones, but I mean, they're still the Bills. And honestly, this defense is not going to be able to stop Josh Allen. I mean, they're not. And it also I cannot believe I'm saying this. It kind of depends on the game that Rico Dowdle has because he's been kind of dragging this team along the finish line here. Like, he's getting checked down. He's getting like 6-7 receptions a game as well. Like, he's not just running right over everybody, but Bills by 10 points.
All right, I'll go Bills.
Yeah, there's not. Man, those damn Panthers. But yeah, I don't think I can disagree on this one. Bills by a mile.
I'm going Niners.
Niners.
Who are they playing?
The Texans.
Texans.
Oh yeah, Niners. Not even close.
Let's see. Browns, Patriots. I'm going Pats. Fuck it.
I'm going Pats too. I think that's a layup. The Pats are hot right now. The Browns are getting fluky wins, but they didn't put up points last week. So
Dylan Gabriel against New England defense? I don't think so.
I'm sorry, the previous week, yeah, but they only put up points against the Dolphins, is what I meant to say. I'm sorry.
Patriots.
Let me guess. You're going Eagles?
I'm gonna pick the New York. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going Eagles on this one 100%. I mean, I think this is a blowout. This game's a blowout here. I do believe that because I think, and the reason why I think that, and I'll explain the reason why I think that. It's not just a biased take. The reason that I think that is I think that Jackson Dart is hurt. I think he's hurt considerably. He's taken some really massive hits here, and I think that the fall off from him to your backup is what's propping him up to play this game. And I do think that coming off a hot week as well, I do think that the Eagles are going to win this one pretty heavily.
Yeah, we got Crocs.
All right, so I've been thinking about this one a lot, and I think I like to try and think of it from an emotional standpoint a little bit, and not just by statistics. The Giants coming off of a heartbreaking loss, and looking at Jackson Dart's face with his hands on his face, the look of disappointment and the accountability that he took. And Jalen Hurts and the Eagles coming off their best offensive performance of the year, but Saquon has still not found his identity. I'm picking the Giants.
I agree.
I think Jackson Dart walks into the bank and has
He walks into the link and puts his nuts on that Eagle. All right, I'm going Buck.
Out of his head.
Buccaneers by a mile.
Bucks who? Saints? Oh, jeez. Yeah, come on.
Titans, Colts.
They're going to bench their starters in this game.
Depends by the third quarter.
All right. Cowboys Broncos.
This is the game of the week. Like, this game's gonna be really, really. I mean, I want to say Packers Steelers, but dude, this game's gonna be really fucking good because you have a good defense against a good offense, and then their counterparts are so iffy, right? So I'm gonna go
Dallas.
Broncos. I'm going Broncos. I'm going Denver on this one. I think Denver's good, man. And the thing is like they come back in games, and like if the Cowboys don't go up by like 17 early in this one, like, I don't think that, like, they have to blow this team out. And I just don't think they're good enough to do that.
This is a tough one. I'm gonna go with Denver. I'm gonna go with Denver because, especially coming off of that huge win last week, and I think Bo Nix has figured out like how to pick teams apart off of mistakes, and Dallas's defense, like we said, makes a lot of mistakes. I mean, I could be wrong because Dallas, with the number one offense, can put up some numbers. But is it one of those games where Dak decides to take a week off? I think it's Denver.
All right, and I'm going Steelers. I'm assuming you're going Steelers.
I will never go against them. So, yep.
Green Bay's going to shit on the Steelers.
You going Green Bay? Ooh.
I think that this is a game where you have a quarterback that Micah Parsons is going to be able to eat alive because he's not able to move. I think that the problems with their defense, if they don't do what they're supposed to do, this can run away from them quickly because I do think that the Packers have that explosive play opportunity there. And you have Josh Jacobs, who's a good player, and I think that the defensive front of Pittsburgh just not playing where they should. I do think that this is a game where the Packers are actually going to handle business here. I could be wrong, though.
Yeah. That is one thing that I forget to talk about when it comes to the Steelers offense is our offensive line. They have been playing tremendously well this year. Like, I think Rodgers has gotten sacked a very few amount of times. They held Myles Garrett to one statistic all game. So I don't think they struggle against Micah Parsons either, especially after that kind of performance. So
Jalen Warren's good too. Jalen Warren is a good player.
Yeah, and having a duo of Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren has been very well for us as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, wholeheartedly, I think, especially coming off of a Mike Tomlin trap game, we historically do well in these kind of games. And Aaron Rodgers said it's not a revenge game, but I know deep in his heart he's gonna try and show the Packers who they miss, and I think we pull it out. It's in Pittsburgh, Sunday Night Football.
Yeah. They have a big loss coming. I just feel like if there's a more likely one to happen, it would be against the Packers. It's not just because I think the Steelers are bad per se, but there's a loss. There's a big L coming. Everybody's going to get one this year. I just think this is the week. This is the biggest potential week for that. That's all I think. I just think that Green Bay's a good team.
Coming against small teams for us. That's been storybook. It's literally.
Yeah, and I would not be surprised if I'm wrong and the Steelers go out there and just absolutely fucking put their dick on their forehead. But I feel like this is the big loss here.
I don't think we'll blow them out of the water. To be honest, I think it'll be a slight shootout, but we'll see.
This has nothing to do with you picking the Giants, by the way. All right, next.
Last game, I'm going Skins.
Ooh. Yeah, no shot. I think the Chiefs. I mean,
Chiefs. Oh, what am I doing? Chiefs. Yeah.
Chiefs. Yeah.
Daniels is hurt. Fuck that.
Daniels banged up. I mean, even if he plays, he's going to be at like 30%. And even at 100%, it's not good this year. The receivers are hurt. The Chiefs are hot right now. I mean, I don't think this one has even potential to be really even close here.
Yeah, the Chiefs are 11.5-point favorites. That's terrible. Especially getting Ray Rice back and having a relatively fully healthy offense. It just doesn't make sense.
What?
Oh, Ray Rice, excuse me.
Rashee Rice. Oh, man, you brought me back, baby.
I mean, there's not much of a difference if we're honest. It must be the last name, but the initials, I don't know. But
committing crimes. Back, man. Right. Oops.
I'm a big Rutgers fan, obviously, so brought me back.
Yeah, but
all right.
Rashee back.
So now,
Chiefs.
Chiefs. Yeah. It sucks, though, because this one would have been so good. If both teams were healthy, this would have been such a good game. And so it sucks because I feel like we're losing one here. We're losing a Monday night game, honestly, because this game would have been very, very good if both teams were healthy. And I want to see Jaden Daniels duel against those great quarterbacks and see what he's got. But even if he plays, I mean, it just sucks.
Yeah, and Carson Wentz is crying.
So, I mean, shit, I would too if I was getting absolutely fucking demolished on every snap of the ball. It's getting crushed. So now I want to do, if you guys are okay with it, the way too early halfway through the season awards. If you would like to, or if you want, we can push it to next week. If you want to go after week 8, it's up to you guys.
We can do it this week.
I'm just gonna mention this. I don't know if a running back has ever won MVP, but Jonathan Taylor needs to be in the talks, man.
Ooh, yes, thank you.
If Saquon wasn't even a finalist last year, then Jonathan Taylor doesn't have a chance. But I agree. I think Saquon was if not Baker Mayfield, I think Saquon was the MVP of last year.
I don't even know. Well, it's still a long season, but Baker should still be a part of the conversation. They're already talking up Patrick Mahomes for this award, and it pisses me off so much.
Who's your guys' MVP right now? Who's your MVP right now, as it stands? Not counting this Chargers game, which doesn't have any implications. But
last podcast, I went out of left field and I said Puka Nacua. Not the case anymore. Because he's injured, and that just throws it out the window completely. Even if probably
I'm going Jonathan Taylor.
JT's been playing.
I don't think anyone's playing to that level right now in the NFL. Receiver, quarterback. He's the only one that's consistent. Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. You know what? Now, like if the Chiefs and the Colts met each other in the playoffs right now, I would give the Colts a long shot of a good chance to win that game. Like, no, wrong words. I would pick the Colts over the Chiefs, like well over. And if they were in that game in the playoffs, I think Jonathan Taylor would literally walk into the next game with an MVP award.
Yeah, bro. Josh Downs is having a great season. Tyler Warren was a crazy pickup. That was huge. He reminds me of Dallas Clark. Pittman isn't really doing too much. But yeah, Jonathan Taylor is fucking him right now. Like, there is no other player that is that consistent every game. This guy's scoring at least 1 or 2, even 3 touchdowns a game. Like, the guy is going off.
Yeah. So, what is he averaging? 27 points?
I mean, the problem with the NFL and why I think the MVP award is a joke at this point and doesn't matter, although, we always want to speculate and talk about it because it's fun to talk about, is that they would be more likely by a landslide to give the MVP to Daniel Jones even if Jonathan Taylor had 2,100 yards this year. So that's a problem with it. I want to think about this realistically, and realistically right now, to me, the MVP of the league is Baker Mayfield. But I also think that Jared Goff needs to be in the conversation. I think that Jonathan Taylor needs to be in the conversation. And I think that Jackson Smith-Njigba needs to be in that conversation as well. That guy's incredible.
Fair.
That is very true.
So that's how I feel about it. If I had to pick one right now, I mean, if the season ended right now, to me, it would still be Baker Mayfield. The dude's consistently, even in the bad games, has put up yards, he's put up stats. He's playing with injured receivers and winning games. It doesn't matter. You could have anybody out there. He's an unstoppable force this season. Look, they played a bad game against the Lions. He lost his number 1 wide receiver. You're gonna have a bit. Look, if anything tells me anything, there's gonna be at least 2 or 3 bad games from no matter how good you are this year. So that doesn't disqualify you from being the MVP, in my opinion. And I think the MVP this year is Baker Mayfield. Halfway through. So let's go to Offensive Player of the Year. Offensive Player of the Year is Jonathan Taylor. I mean, that's if that's the consolation prize that they give the true MVP because it's not a quarterback. Jonathan Taylor's landslide. I mean, he's the best. He's the best running back in the NFL right now.
Would you? I mean, now that you say it, like if Jonathan Taylor won MVP, he should probably get Offensive Player of the Year. But would Jackson Smith-Njigba give him a run for his money?
Sure.
No, because no, and the reason why is because Jackson Smith-Njigba was on a team talent-wise that we expected to be pretty good, whereas the Colts came out of absolutely nowhere and are dominating the league right now. I mean, they're blowing teams out. That's the only difference because if it was a true individual award, then yes, I would pick Njigba right now. But the way that it works in the NFL is that they kind of look at it as like teams have a lot to do with that. Records have a lot to do with that because if not, Joe Burrow's the MVP, right? But no one's going to say that because his team had the record they had, right? So realistically, yes, I agree, but it would go to Taylor in the same way that Saquon got the Offensive Player of the Year last year, even though a quarterback got MVP, right? Josh Allen got MVP. But I think Saquon was the MVP. He did something only 8 other guys have ever done in the history of the NFL in this position and still didn't get it. So yeah, I mean, I agree. No, I agree with your point, but the way that they think, I would say Jonathan Taylor. So the harder one to me is Defensive Player of the Year. Who do you think is like the Defensive Player of the Year? It's hard. This is a hard one.
I have no idea.
I mean, I would say Jacksonville number 0 would give a good shot at it because he's been tremendous. I mean, defensively, there's really been no one that's stuck out there to my knowledge. I mean, unless I'm completely blanking on somebody. I can't.
Solo tactics. Sorry, I can't believe I had a brain fart on that one. No, yeah, my boy Burns.
So I was gonna say Burns, but I also, and this is gonna be a take that like people aren't gonna love, but I think it's true, dude. Myles Garrett still is like so fucking incredible.
Come on, no.
Dude, he
No.
blows up games on a team that has no one else on defense. Like, when you look at his reps and shit, like, he is always in the fucking backfield. Like, he's still so good. He's exactly what we expected, a great player. You could also throw, like, he's not a runaway. I don't think he's, like, the only guy. But you have Aiden Hutchinson. You have Brian Burns that are up there as well. But Myles Garrett's never gonna be looked at for these awards the way he should. But, dude, look at the tape of the games that have been played so far. Myles Garrett's always in the backfield.
I'm going off stats, man. Ain't nobody fucking with Burnsy right now. He's fucking going off.
I mean, yeah, would I pick Burns? Probably, but Myles Garrett's got to be in that conversation. Aiden Hutchinson's got to be in that conversation. But yeah, Burns is just as good as anybody else.
In the fucking conversation every year. Miles and JJ.
But yeah, I mean, I'll agree and go Burns. I'll go Burns overall for sure right now.
I hate to say it, but TJ has been.
TJ, not JJ. Sorry.
I don't want to say irrelevant this year, but he's not really done too much. And I mean, I'm not saying he's in the conversation because he's not. But again, he hasn't done too much. So I mean, but I don't really feel like Myles Garrett has done too much either. I mean, watching their games, I mean, it doesn't really make a difference for Cleveland. So, and he complains after every game. He complains in every interview after every game, even though he's the one that said, "I want to be traded. Here's money." Okay, never mind. Like. Come on, bro, you're a clown.
We also have to put Nick Bonito in that conversation as well. Nick Bonito from the Broncos. He's one sack behind, and I also think we should talk about Jared Verse as well because Jared Verse is playing well as well. So if it just goes clearly off sacks, then yes, but pressure rates and things like that are also up there. So you have Nick Bonito as a linebacker who's up there for sacks right now, and then you have like I said, Jared Verse has been playing a consistently good season so far. So, but I mean, I still think that Burns is the best defensive player in the NFL right now, and not just for sacks. His pressure rate's very high. He's done well against the run. He's done well against the run. He's done well against the run as well, and that's something that we're not, people don't like to talk about because you look at sacks, but dude, he's doing well against the run, man. Like he's a good player. I mean, he's the best defensive player in the NFL, I think. But I just want to make sure that I at least give those other guys credit if one of them runs away and has a great season for the rest of the year. I think that they also should be up there as well. And there are guys like Nick Bonito, like I don't hear his name mentioned very much, but he's having a consistently good season. He's a huge part, maybe the biggest part of that Denver defense's success so far.
I really didn't before this game, like that we just played. So maybe that's just me being uncultured.
So offensive rookie of the year, I mean, that's got to be Igbuka, right?
Or that has to be. That's a.
I don't know. He's hurt. He's hurt. So
Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren.
Jackson Dart.
I was about to say, I would put Jackson Dart in the conversation, but Igbuka's something else. Like he is absolutely insane, especially and with him coming back from an injury and the fact that Mike Evans is probably done for the year. I think he starts to take that award with him pretty far.
I mean, the three are going to be. It's going to be Dart. Well, Scadaboo's going to get an honorable mention regardless, but it's going to be Dart. It's going to be Tyler Warren, and it's going to be Igbuka. But if Gadsden had been starting the whole season, we may have talked about him. But he started too late in the season, so we can't really even bring it up. Even if, saying that we're not considering this game, but even if we were, those other guys have been consistent all year. Those four guys. I mean, one of those four is going to win it, in my opinion.
Well, Dart didn't start till game 4, and he's already got better numbers than a bunch of these quarterbacks. Than Geno, fucking Field. You know what I mean? He's got better numbers than a lot of these quarterbacks.
That's true. But starting week 4 versus week 7 or 8, though. I mean, he should still. And the numbers, it's not like his stats don't look like he's missed a game.
Who?
Dart.
Jax?
His stats don't look like he missed a game.
I think they said he's on track for like 35 touchdowns, which no player's done since Eli.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, he's got to be there. I mean, you got to have him, you got to have Scadaboo, you got to have Igbuka, and you got to have Warren in there as well. And then Gadsden, I mean, pretty much regardless of what he does for the rest of the year, I just think he started too late, and those guys have started earlier than him. If it's just off who played the whole season, it's Warren, but I don't think Warren's better than Jackson Dart. I don't think he's made more of an impact.
I think Warren is like having a Brock Bowers year, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Warren's just an additional piece in that Colts offense. That is pretty much what it comes down to.
So defensive rookie of the year. Do we even?
I mean, I'm just because of what I was reading, they were saying it was Abdul, but I don't even know who else to put in that category.
I like
Yeah,
having
Depends.
Jahad Campbell up there too, though. Jahad Campbell's played well, actually.
he's your guy?
Yeah, he's played well. He's actually now between the two. It's hard because their stats are actually comparable, but I think they're both like slam dunk draft picks. I think they're both great
It's-
picks.
Quinion isn't a rookie, right?
No, but I mean, you have Makuba as well. But I don't think Makuba. It's harder. It's a lot harder as well as a safety too because he has played well. He's already got a pick. He's allowed some of the lowest completion percentage when he's covering, so he's played well. But I still think your boy and I think Jahad Campbell are still better. I think are more front runners for that. Even though Makuba is starting to get noise as well. But I think between our two teams, the problem is I don't follow enough teams enough to know their random defensive rookies.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of the rookies. Yeah, honestly, or like
Yeah.
defensive rookies.
Gotta do better research on defense on my end, honestly.
So yeah, so in terms of that, and then comeback player of the year's gotta be Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones.
Gotta be
by-
Daniel Jones. I mean, there's no who else are we even talking about right now, right? I mean, it's gotta be him. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, no.
and then yeah, and then I'll just add to this: which players and coaches do you think have the hottest seat? Not what people are talking about. Who is? I've talked to Kyler Murray, obviously. Who else is in this hot seat, man? Like, there's going to be some motion throughout the NFL. I think Aaron Glenn's on the hot seat right now. Personally,
I think Pete Carroll maybe too.
yep, I was going to say
wouldn't be
Pete
surprised.
Carroll, and I don't think he's the problem there right now.
He's
But
not-
they're terrible.
He made Gino his guy. They gave him that contract. I'm pretty sure it was him. He believed in him from when he was in Seattle. He gave him that contract, and you know what? It's backfiring. So I think Pete Carroll might be fucking on the hot seat as well.
He also changed the positions of his offensive linemen outside of positions that they were good in, and their offensive line has suffered greatly for it. So
Yeah, bro. I think he's not mentioned a lot. I think Carroll's on there, and yeah, like you said, Aaron Glenn. I think Aaron Glenn's on there.
All right,
Yeah.
I got a question. I got a question for both of y'all because I don't even know what to say anymore on the topic. But I wouldn't call it a hot seat. I would call it a mutual understanding. But pending the Steelers go 9-8, 10-7, whatever the case may be, and lose in the first round of the playoffs, what happens to Mike Tomlin? Does he stay? Does he go?
let me
You guys want me to
answer.
get rid of him?
Let me do something I hate to do and answer a question with a question because I don't think it's going to happen. I don't like doing this. Who would you replace him with?
I mean, that is a good question. I mean, if it was up to me, it would be John Gruden because
I was about to say they're talking about Brian Dable might lose his seat. I don't think he will, but if he does, bring in Gruden.
Yeah, I mean, Gruden,
that
Gruden with the pending lawsuit, they're going to try to blackball him out, but that guy should have been coaching the last couple of years, and I think he's still just as good. I mean, especially, he's one of those Bill Parcells types, man. He comes into a bad team, he turns them around, gets them looking good again. I mean, he had those Raiders looking good. If he has that Raiders team looking good with everything that they had going on, and the guys he picks at quarterback, they're the right guys. I mean, he picks, his guy is usually the guy he wants to pick. And even with Dart in the offseason, he said, hey, Dart, you take too many hits. You know, in the NFL, that's not going to fly. I mean, the guy knows the fucking game of football just as good as anybody alive. Still has that fire. I mean,
yeah, for years, he's been the guy that has talked to not every single rookie quarterback coming in, but like he does a show with them like almost every single year. He started doing it again this year where he talked to Jackson Dart. He talked to Will Howard. He talked to some other quarterbacks as well. I mean, he said that his two favorites from this year were Will Howard and Jackson Dart. So, I mean, if we were to move on from Mike Tomlin finally, I mean, shoot, he might consider it heavily to work with Will Howard, depending on whether or not we bring Aaron Rodgers back. He might retire, so who knows? But it's been so frustrating to see it year after year, the fact that we just keep setting the same standard of football purgatory. But like in the next year, 2 or 3, I don't see how, unless we win a Super Bowl, I don't see how Tomlin stays. I just don't. Within the next 2 or 3 years.
I think Kevin Stefanski also has to get fired at this point. I think that I just think that like like if your bar as a Steelers fan is 9-8, their bar is what, 4 wins. Like it's just I don't think he's a bad coach. I think that Cleveland as a whole is a dumpster fire organization. But at the same time, it's just I feel like it's time to go for him. And now I feel like Mike McDaniel would replace him. Honestly, I feel like Mike McDaniel could replace him or somebody else because I think Mike McDaniel should get another go at it being a head coach. I think he's done a pretty good job for the most part there. It's just Tua's terrible.
Shoot, you know what? That's someone I would give a chance with the Steelers is Mike McDaniel, because Mike Tomlin is a defensive-minded coach, and we've been in a defensive mindset for the last 18 years. And the NFL is an offensive league right now, so that is the difference that we need. John Gruden, I believe, is an offensive mind, but I would not be opposed to giving Mike McDaniel a shot, and especially handing him an offense like the ones we have. Maybe a couple good more receiving weapons because DK can't do everything. But, I mean, the plan that we have now is going great, but ultimately we need a better wide receiver core, and I would not be against Mike McDaniel at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I know coordinator of the year is not a thing, but I want to just give credit right now to Robert Saleh for the defensive coordinator for the 49ers. Robert Saleh has done a great job with that defense, and they look good, and I think that he's a really good defensive coordinator. I just don't think he was a head coach, but I think he's a great defensive coordinator, and I don't feel like Robert Saleh is getting the credit he deserves for the job he's doing in San Francisco with the defense, even having Fred Warner out, right? That's a huge loss. And losing Nick Bosa for the year. That's a huge loss, right? And yet that defense is still playing well. And I think he's a good D coordinator and somebody that, they're gonna keep for a while. I mean, he's good, and I think he got a raw deal. Look, if you're on the staff in Carolina, if you're on the staff in Cleveland, if you're on the staff for the Jets, if you're on the staff for the Titans, I don't feel like that tells me anything in your ability to coach, because it really comes down to organizational failures, in my opinion, of why they are where they are. But so that's what I got. Do you guys have anything you would like to add for this week? And of course, we have to do our hot takes. What's your hot take, good or bad? Chris, what do you got?
We're gonna beat you guys again. Yeah, man. I honestly, like, no bullshit, have no idea what the fuck is gonna happen any week. Like, my parlays and my fantasy is in the gutter, bro. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like 450 down. I'm 450 down right now. Throughout the whole season, right? 7 weeks. That's like what, like $50 a week, something like $60 a week, something like that. But I mean, it's just it's a hard season to gauge, man. Like, especially this game with like Vidal and the rookie Gadsden and all. Like, how do we know these guys are any good? Like, they're gonna do it again next week, and then all of a sudden next week they have a combined 30 yards, right? So, but yeah, okay.
I thought Chargers were going to lose again, but
at least you admit it's a hot take because your team is objectively worse, so I'll take that. So what do you got, Crocs? What's your hot takes?
Hot take of the year, hot take of the week, year?
It can be, so yeah, every week we do hot takes. It could be something about the yearly results, the week, like it can be multiple, good or bad. You can do however you want to do, just hot takes you have on your mind right now, things that people aren't really talking about that you feel that you can say.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, to what Chris just said, like, it's everything is so up in the air and random. Like, it's hard to even gauge anything, honestly. And I, like last podcast, I said Puka Nacua was going to win MVP, and that went in the gutter really quick, even though it probably would have anyways. I'm gonna speak it into existence. Hopefully, the Steelers make it past the first round. That's my hot take of the year.
So, I think it's the Colts AFC to lose. I think they're far and away the best team in the AFC. I really do. Even though their record, they're only, a game up or whatever, I do think they're far and away the best. I think the Patriots are going to win the AFC East. I think the Eagles will repeat as NFC East champions and will be in the Super Bowl. I do believe that. And I think that Jalen Hurts is going to finish the season with over 3,500 passing yards.
This your boy? Crocs, is this your boy?
Finally.
Hey, mine.
I think the Steelers are going to win. I think the Steelers are going to win more than 10 games this year.
I appreciate that.
I really do. I really do think that. And it's because, look, even if Lamar comes back, that Ravens team has not been them. Like, they act like Lamar's going to come back and throw for 350 yards a game. That's not been the case this entire year. That team's in the gutter. The Browns are on a down year. The Cincinnati Bengals are way too inconsistent. The Steelers have experience on their side. They got a lot of good players. You got a good defensive line. That just, if they hit their stride, they're almost undefeated this year, really. And the rest of their record this year doesn't inspire huge confidence that they're going to have a tough, really extremely tough go of it. All the teams they play are beatable by them. And at the end of it, I think that I think that Baker Mayfield's going to have an over 4,000 yard season, and that's good. That's not even a hot take, though. Everything that I have for the rest of this is not really hot takes, right? And it's kind of hard to have hot takes this season because, the way the season's happening is a hot take. Like there's if you said the season was going to happen exactly as it's happened, this is all hot takes. So it's kind of hard to have one, but I'll reach a little bit. So there you go.
Lions Colts Super Bowl. That's my current pick.
I like that. All
right. All right. Okay. So who are your 2 Super Bowl teams? That's the last thing we do every week. Who are your 2 Super Bowl teams right now?
I guess I'll go Colts, and then I'll interchange Lions with Bucks if Bucks get healthy.
Yeah, I'm sticking with what I just said before. Lions.
Colts. Choose the Eagles. All right, Dan, get out of your head. I will never choose the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't think I see. I mean, again, the only real defense that's been able to stop the Lions' offense was the Chiefs. And I just don't see anybody in the NFC stopping them. I'm sorry, I don't think the Eagles defense can stop the Lions offense. And Colts are I said last week or last podcast, the Colts are AFC winners until further notice, and they have yet to prove me otherwise. So Colts, Lions.
Colts, Eagles. Eagles win by 10. Go Birds. Back-to-back champions. We already knew what it was. You knew what I was going to say. But, I mean, I do believe that. I mean, look, this team having this breakout performance against a team that was good going into this year. Like, yeah, Wentz is there, but Wentz doesn't play on defense. That defense got torched. They were the best pass defense in the league all the way up until that week, including the weeks they had Wentz before. So, I mean, they're just as good as anybody against the pass. They got torched. Eagles go back-to-back, win by 10 over the Colts. Everybody's confetti. More Jalen Hurts pictures flood Facebook from my account. And with that has been the House Divided podcast. I can't wait to break even on at least one bet this year on Sunday at 1 o'clock in the financial district of Philadelphia. You guys have a good one. Thank you as always for watching. Take it easy.